Hello and welcome back, my fellow humans. I'm so honored to be here sharing this human experience and walk this path of growth and change with you all. Please remember that if a trigger arises during this reading, do not force it to fit. Also, maybe view that friction as a sacred blueprint for your personal healing and journey. So with that being said, let's go ahead and tap into this reading today, which is the shocking message they just released. So we're going to be using the Cosmic Reading cards by Nari Anastasia. And with that, let's hop to it and find out more about the shocking message they just released. So I did get some channel messages that come out for each pile. If you're interested, that's something that will arise on the piles themselves. I just feel like I need to mention that right now for some reason. So somebody needs to hear that. But we're going to find out this shocking message that they just released they have for you. There's something that your guides, that the divine wants you to know. So what is that? Thank you. All right. Pile 1, the shocking message they just released for you. What oracle card will help us better understand that today? Thank you. All right. Pile number 2, the shocking message they just released for you. All right. Right away. Thank you. All right. Pile number 3, the shocking message they just released for you. Okay. Really quickly coming out with the shuffle. We'll take a look at the bottom for a collective reading after we do the pick a card. So you can choose your pile first, head on over to the reading. The collective message is not a requirement, but if you'd like to stick around, it will happen in just a moment. After we do that, we will get into our prayer and then we will go into the readings from there. Perfect. So for pile 1, you have this beautiful blue dice with the first house on it to choose from. Or you have this, wow, if I can let go here, this piece of Aquamarine. Pile 2, we have this beautiful pink dice with Libra to choose from. And this does not mean that it's just for Libras, it's just an option to choose from. Or you have this Moonstone to choose from. And pile number 3, we have this green dice with Uranus on it. Or you have this beautiful piece of natural jade to choose from. Right, so you have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. If you are headed directly over to your reading, I'll see you there. For those of you that would like to stick around for the collective message, we will now see what that is. On the bottom of the deck, we have let go. What a powerful message to come out right away in regards to this message they just released. This is something that your spirit guides, that source directly wants you to know, that it is okay to let go. There's been a huge shadow that has been following you around. And when we look at the shadow, it's not necessarily a negative energy. which it can be a person who's incredibly negative that, you know, you're stuck to or that you have been focused on for a long time. But ultimately, the shadow says it's something that our emotional ego is directly relating to and wanting to hold on to because it wants to be right about something. And if we can let go of that need or that desire to be right, to be justified, to even be validated when it comes to said situation, we're then free to let go. We step into a state of peace and harmony and calm-mindedness. And that peace is what brings us to a state of alignment and a state of grounded pleasure is what I'm hearing. Grounded pleasure, which is necessary, because I feel like there's this energy around you where you have really been trying to heal from this. You've really been trying to overcome this. And I don't feel like there's anything that you can truly overcome when it comes to this situation except to surrender. There's a need to surrender. And, you know, sometimes we get stuck thinking that like, oh, if I do all the healing, then it will balance out the situation between me and this person, myself in this position that I have, myself in this life situation that's unfolding. I'm the one that can do that. I'm the one that can swoop in and do all the work, and they'll just eventually show up the way that I want them to. And please know that this is completely human of us. We all do this. We all carry the Superman, Superwoman, superhero, super person cape. And we believe that we're the ones that are powerful enough to create that everlasting change in another person. And ultimately, we don't have any control over that. And I cannot make this up, but the frequencies in the background, it just stopped now that I'm mentioning it, but they are flashing. They were flashing from black to the screen that's on there, and they haven't done that at all. It's been playing. It's an 8-hour frequency that I got going. It's been playing for a while. And it's never done that before. And so I feel like that's just a snapshot of what's really truly happening. You know, we think that we can change whatever's going on beneath the surface, when in reality, sometimes it's just more beneficial and conducive to our own journeys to let go. But the emotional ego convinces us that we are so powerful that we're going to be the one that creates everlasting change in every person that we want to keep in our lives, or in every situation that we want to keep in our lives, that it'll somehow morph into exactly what we needed to. And believe me, that is a beautiful sentiment. It really is, but it's a sentiment. It's not something that will ever become reality. It's a fantasy world that we're living in at that point. It's not to say that we won't ever step into a situation that we're desiring, right? Like if it's a certain type of position or a certain type of lifestyle or a certain type of love, it exists out there for us. But what it's saying is to let go of the package that it comes in. When we let go of the idea of the package that it's coming in, then we can free ourselves and allow the space to begin to call in, to attract, and to manifest what it is that we desire. But sometimes we get so stuck on the package, and it's trying to force a package that isn't in alignment with us into something that does fit our alignment, what we think is our alignment. But sometimes we just have to trust that Source, our creator, knows us far better than we know ourselves, and is trying to offer us exactly what we're asking for, but in a different package, with a different bow that we haven't even seen because we're so fixated on what's standing in front of us. Be that something that is somewhat positive, or even be that something that is somewhat negative that we're trying to leave. We just become hyper focused on what's in front of us because we wear blinders, and it's part of societal construct to be that way. And so as we continue to grow and to evolve, we're learning to let that go. Truly let that go. And right now, the shocking message that they want you to know is that it is time for you to consider letting go. I could sit here and tell you, you have to let go, you have to let go, but really they want you to consider what would your life look like if you truly just let go and surrendered this? If you just said, I'm okay without it. I'm okay without it being what I expect it to be. I'm okay without it being who I expect it to be. I'm okay without it turning into what I desire it to be, because my peace is far more important to me than this package, than this position, than this person, than this idea. Because when you come into a state of peace, then you'll find the blessing becomes much bigger than the desire that was driving you in the first place. So this is the completion of a cycle for you. And that is sometimes the hardest place to be at, because it's asking us to close a door that we've known for a very long time. Like, we've grown accustomed to what's behind that door, right? If someone is making us chase them, for example, in a love relationship, if someone is making us chase them, or if we are constantly chasing said person, right? We're used to that. That's the known to us. We've grown comfortable with this push and pull dynamic, and we're saying, okay, this is what I'm used to. But what you want is an everlasting love where someone meets you and grows with you and is willing to do the hard work with you and to show up and have those challenging conversations from a place of calm and certainty. And in order to step into that vibrational energy, we must first let go of the push and pull dynamic, which says to us and says to our ego that if I let go, that means that I'm letting go of this person. And if I let go of this person and they don't come back to me, I somehow lose myself, because I have now identified with my being complete with this person or with this position or with this situation, whatever it is. But you are already complete and whole without the idea that you have in your heart and mind that you would like to manifest. And oftentimes what we want to manifest is more driven by our desires of mind rather than our desires of heart. The desires of heart are more subtle under the surface, saying we want peace, we want love, we want to be chosen, we want to be seen, we want to be heard, and we want to be present. And the mind is saying, I want this right here, this package in front of me. I'm just going to use this as an example. I want this. I have to have this. It has to be this. It can only be this. If it's not this, then I don't want it. That's the desire of the ego. But the spirit says, hey, you know, this is really nice. That's cool. But I want peace more than I want this. So I'm going to put this down and I'm just going to let things unfold and see what happens. But that's the scary part, because that's asking us to step into a state of the unknown. But that unknown is a very powerful state where we can begin to unfurl those traumas and the tragedies of the past, and we can relinquish the hold that they have on us so that we can step up into a true place of understanding what our real desires are from a peaceful, calm, grounded and aligned heart. And that's a very different energy than what we have been taught to sit in our entire lives. And so if we're trying to be something or be in a different energy than what we've always known, we have to let go of what we've always known. And that's where it becomes incredibly frightening, but necessary. Okay, so what let go says, it's time to relinquish your need for control and let the leaves fall as they may. If you've drawn this card, it's time to relinquish the need for control and release your tight grip on how you think the world and everyone in it should be. Letting go is an emotional, spiritual, physical, and mental process of releasing yourself to the universal spirit of love. It's giving up your need to control the outcome of every situation and the control of the people you hold most dear. This period can be challenging in many ways, and Spirit asks you to have faith. Have faith that the universe will guide you and send forth the outcomes that are needed for your journey. We understand that you have been this way for a long time, and the need for control stems from your youth when hurt, disorder, and instability was felt. Spirit understands your need for caution. But holding on and controlling every aspect of your life is taking its toll. Hanging on so tightly does not bring the outcomes you desire. Instead, it serves to repel all that you cling to so tightly. Your soul longs to be free and dance through the winds of change. If you deny this part of you the freedom to play, and the universe will send the right situation or person to help unlock the free-spirited child within you. This may come at a time not suited to your plans and may leave you feeling vulnerable and confused. Dear one, it is time. It is time to let go. Letting go of your need to control will set you and others free. Your prayer is, Great Spirit, please give me the strength to let go of all that I cling to. Divinely guide my thoughts, words, and actions with love and understanding. And your associated chakra is connecting with the solar plexus chakra. So the action of letting go, such a powerful message for the collective reading. Such a powerful message. I absolutely love that. All right, so I don't have any updates or news for the time being. I just ask that you're being patient with me as I continue to make changes to the channel. We're just learning a new rhythm, a new way of doing things, and you guys are along for the ride. And so I just want to say thank you to those of you that have been consistently viewing my readings and been a part of this with me. You are the ones that have really made this channel possible and have really been the driving force behind this all. And I just want to give a shout out and a thank you to each and every one of you and let you know just how precious, amazing, beautiful, and meaningful you are to me. And so here's a big heart love to you all, and just a deeply grateful heart from me to you. So with that, let's hop into our prayer, and then we will go ahead and get to our readings, okay? And I changed my incense today. I pulled out the last one that I had in my box up there, and it is dragon's blood. And I tell you, there's something I've smelled this before, but when I say there's like a memory that I can't quite grasp onto tied to this scent, like that's where I'm at right now. And so I'm trying to figure out where this memory is, or what this memory is, or maybe I don't need to know. Or maybe there's some of you that are clinging to a memory and you're not sure what it is, but that's what's driving you. And so letting it go can be a challenge because, well, I can't let it go unless I know. But sometimes we just need to trust and not know. It's better that way. All right. My beloved source, this prayer is for any and all who come on to hear today. My beloved tribe, my fellow humans. Today I ask that you wrap us in your healing white light and the violet light of truth, light, essence, and assistance is what's coming in today. Assistance to let go. Assistance to step into a more empowered state of self. Assistance to see our cosmic soul as the infinite, abundant entity that it is. And to know that we can tap into that infinite, at that infinity at any time, that it's available to us every step of the way, and that we don't have to actually change. It's truly about shedding that which holds us back, and that could be anything, but the cloak is heavy and the energy may be dense and the fear of the unknown is great. And so today I ask that you lessen the burden of that for us. Take away the burden of the cloak. Lessen the intensity of the unknown. And allow us to step into our empowered states right now, knowing that the next thing for us is going to bring us even closer home. Because our true goal here is to come home to ourselves. It's not to manifest riches. It's not to manifest fame and popularity. It's to manifest well-being and home. Our riches are the people that we surround ourselves with that are like-minded, who love us, support us, care for us, and want to see us do well. Our wealth is our health, our mental well-being, our ability to be aware, conscious of our actions, and to take full accountability and responsibility for who we are. So may you bathe us in these riches and this kind of wealth, so that we can step forward knowing that as long as we're aligned in this manner, all other things will work out for us in beautiful, beautiful ways. As this prayer is spoken onto this reading today and upon this tribe, so shall they be. Amen. Aho. Aseh. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my beloved source. Thank you. I'm telling you, the scent, it's like oddly powerful. Can't even get it in the hook. Can't even get it in the hook right now. All right, so with that being said, whether you chose pile 1, 2, or 3, I will see you on over there. And yeah, welcome back, beautiful souls, my fellow humans. I am so honored to be here sharing this human experience and this evolutionary spiritual path with you all today. Remember that if a trigger arises during this reading, please do not force it to fit, but also maybe view that friction as a sacred blueprint for your own personal healing and growth. All right, with that, this is for those of you that chose pile 1 with this beautiful blue dice and the first house on it, or possibly you felt called to this piece of aquamarine, or were drawn to this card during the shuffle. This is going to be a reading on the shocking message they just released. So there's something that Source wants to come through for you guys today, and we're going to tap into that more. We're going to start with the dice, move to the tarot, and move on to our oracles last. But I was getting a message that this has to do in regards to manifestations that you have or that you've been asking for a while. And so we're going to look into that a little bit more, okay? So the shocking message that you have for pile 1 source, you are bringing it in through 4 manifestations. What would you like to share with pile 1 today? This shocking message for pile number 1 source. Okay. We've got the moon, we've got Sagittarius energy, and we've got the 2nd house. Interesting. So right away, pile 1, there's this energy that your manifestations are deeply intertwined to your self-worth and how you view yourself. So if you struggle with manifesting bigger things in your life, then the question becomes is, how do you view yourself? Right? And that can be super frustrating because it's like, why? Why does it have to be tied to my self-worth? Like, I've been working on it for a long time. Why can't it just come to me and show me that it's possible, and then I'll work on my self-worth after that? We've all done the bargaining. I know how that goes for sure. Pile 1, our self-worth is everything though. The way that we feel about ourselves internally is what's getting mirrored to us externally. And so if we don't feel worthy enough to create financial abundance in our lives, or to create love, abundant love, or to create an abundant family, a soul tribe in our lives, if we're always looking back at, well, I've struggled with money my whole life, or I've always been betrayed by the people in my life, or I've always been in love relationships that have been very difficult, abusive, and disconnected, right? Like all of these things. And it's like you're looking at the past and seeing it through the eyes of the present, which thus begins to manifest in the future. And so it's basically asking you to begin to reframe how you look at yourself in the situations that you went through in the past. And if that's letting go, which you might resonate deeply with the collective message I did at the beginning, and you'll find that timestamp down below, only if you feel called, it's there for you. But if you're letting go of the idea that I've always been betrayed, and rather than seeing it, I've always been betrayed, looking at it that people have always shown me whether they resonate with me or not. And that brings me closer to my soul tribe, right? If you've always been hurt and abused by the people that you love, again, showing yourself a different place of reframing it. I've learned what love is not for me based on my past relationships. And now I know exactly what I want moving forward. If it's in regards to finances, you've been living in poverty or you've been living in a state of lack, seeing it as, before I didn't understand how to use the tools available to me, and now it's within my power to create abundance by understanding the resources that are available to me, and I learn more and more each and every day. So it really feels like finding some kind of adventurous, emotional connection to the manifestation that you have, right? Or are desiring in your life. So if it's love, what does that look like? An adventurous, emotionally deep love. Does that look like somebody you get to travel the world with and take all these magnificent photos, not to share on social media, right? But to have memories and hang them up all over your house, or to create your own little personal photo albums, right? You have to look at it from your point of view. This is not to share with the world. This is to share with yourself and the people who are closest to you. If it's about having a better life, what does that look like to you? If you want to be able to be free and have time and have space to do the things that you love, what are you filling that time and space with? Are you filling it with music lessons? Are you filling it with art lessons? Are you filling it with going to the museum? Are you filling it with going to different cities, learning about new things, new classes? Or if you're filling it with friends that you love, right? It's about being adventurous, imaginative, and feeling good even though it's not here right now, which sometimes is a conundrum, right? That's the paradox. That's the paradox that we're trying to open up to, is to be able to feel it in the moment, even if it's not currently within our visual, our visuals, our eyes, right? And if we can open up to that, then we open ourselves up to a whole world of possibility. Instead of looking at it as only once I see, I'll believe, reframe that. I know that if I believe now, as I believe, I will see, right? We're reframing it, switching it around, seeing it as an opportunity to learn more about yourself, your desires, your imagination, what really excites you, because you become super magnetic when you're excited. There might be certain things or certain times in your life when you've been really, really excited. You've had a lot of good things happen, one right after the other. Like all of a sudden the snowball effect happened. You got everything that you asked for, no matter how big or small it was, right? And think about those times. It ties directly into a period of your life where you felt really good. You're like, oh my gosh, I won this little consolation prize when I went out today. And then I went to this restaurant and they gave me a free meal. So random. They said I was like the 1,200 customer that they've had this week, and they gave me this free meal. And then I went to this shoe shop and they gave me a 50% discount just for no reason. They just said, oh, well, the box is damaged, I'm going to give you this 50% discount. And then I went out with my friends and my friend bought me dinner, and it was so, they've never bought me dinner before. Like, what the heck is going on? I don't understand, right? Because it was like the momentum was going. But then once you go to bed and you wake up the next day, you start in whatever energy is natural for you, and sometimes that can be negative. If you've been in a negative mindset for a long time, it's natural for us to reset and go back to that at times when we go to sleep and wake up in the morning. And so how can you pump yourself up in the morning? How can you make yourself feel good so that when you step outside the door, everything that you're asking for is coming from a place of excitement and knowing that it's already yours? Manifestation is easy, right? It's maybe I should say this, it's simple, but sometimes it's not easy because we're so used to being in a state of lack. And so when it comes to your manifestation, they want to reveal to you that look at the patterns of the times that things have flowed easily for you. Where have you been at emotionally and mentally and even physically? What's been going on with your body? And if you're like, I don't know, I don't remember, are there little tidbits that you can pick up, like thoughts that were going on in your head, or a feeling that maybe you had during that day, like you were super excited about winning or you were super excited about having this opportunity or this discount. Like, it was so amazing, and there was like this shock factor that went with it, and that shock just kind of carried over all day, right? It's just focusing on the little things here. And I feel like sometimes that's where the challenge lies, is because it's like, how do I remember how I felt a year ago when it seemed like everything was going good for me? But if you can just remember what it felt like to get all of those things that you were getting and just sit in that emotion for a minute, what's that going to look like for you, right? And let that carry you through. So let's find out some more here. What is the shocking message that you would like to reveal to pile 1, source? The shocking message you'd like to reveal to pile 1 about manifestation. Thank you. The shocking message you would like to reveal to pile 1 about manifestation. What is the shocking message you would like to reveal to pile 1 about manifestation, source? Whoa. Yeah. Oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. Okay, let's get one more before we really dig into this, because the energy is very clear. What is the shocking message you would like to reveal to pile 1 about manifestation? Thank you. Let's check out the bottom of the deck, because there's a very, very deep energy here. It's shining a light on something. This little light of mine, it's been gone for quite some time. This little light of mine. There's a commercial that says that, right? And then it turns, I think it's a commercial for some kind of medicine, and then it's for depression, right? It's been gone for quite some time, but now I'm going to let it shine. And that's the thing, and I feel like that's exactly what's happened here. And we see why. Let's look at the center of your reading here with the Emperor in the reverse. We see why. There's this energy that's around you, or in your space, in your face, in your work, at home or online, or a family member or something. There's somebody here who is just a negative Nancy or a negative Nick, and they're Chad, they're Karen, whatever you want to call them, right? And the thing is that they are very brutal in their approach to you. And it's not just you. They're brutal to the people that they're closest with. They're very good at putting a mask on when they're out and about. Like, they're trying to maintain some image. But this is someone who's very vicious. Very vicious. And this could be a past energy. This could be a past energy that was in your life. Like, things were going good, and then you got involved with somebody, and suddenly your life like crashed, and you were like, what the heck? You realize this person is super toxic for me. Like, I cannot be around this person at all. I need to choose myself. And that energy has stayed with you because there's that energy that comes up where, why did they treat me like that? Like, why did I have to connect with a person like that? Why did I have to go through that, right? And we start playing that card of why me, poor me. You could call it the pity party if you want. It's not necessarily a pity party, but some people call it a pity party, but it's not really that. It's just in our minds, we cannot justify the actions of what said person or situation did to us, because in our minds, we would never show up like that, right? We would have never treated a person like that, no matter how mad or how irritated we were with them. We would have never said the things that they said because they hurt too much, right? And this energy is hard to relate to because it's so vastly different than the way that you yourself would show up. And so we're looking for a why. And that's what this feels like. Yeah, my left ear is starting to ring. This is the message received. I'm looking for a why. And so trying to find a why to this situation. Like, let's just say an example here is if this is a parent, right? Like, why does my parent treat me like this? Why can't they just love me? You know, I didn't decide to be born. They had me. Why are they treating me like I'm some kind of burden, or like I'm the bane of their existence, or as if I'm just absolutely ridiculous for wanting the life that I want or wanting to live how I want to live? Like, why are they treating me like this, right? You're looking for some explanation to their actions, when the truth is that even if I were to give you that explanation, even if Source were to give you that explanation right now, I'm just going to tell you, Pile 1, there's no explanation that is profound enough to excuse in your mind and your heart why they did the things that they did. So instead of looking for a why, let it go and say, you know what? That's who they are, and I don't have to be a part of that anymore. I don't have to relive those memories. I don't have to relive that part of my life. It's over. I'm stepping away and stepping into a new, reconnected version of myself, and a new, brighter version of myself. I'm going to be there for myself. The Sun card always makes you feel like reconnecting with your inner child. And I will always be a huge advocate of Ho'oponopono. Like, Ho'oponopono has changed my life in so many ways. And I actually came across it in the very beginning of my journey, way back when. It's been a long time now. I think the first time I came across Ho'oponopono was probably in 2015 or 2016, right around in there. And I have absolutely used it as a tool, as a healing modality for my own journey. And so you might really connect with Ho'oponopono and just find one that works for you, right? Like going and finding one. I can give you ones. There's Sandra Robles is one that I always go back to, and Roy Gahn. He's a really good one as well, okay? But you can absolutely find whatever one you feel resonates with you. But connecting with the inner child has been so important to your journey. And I feel like at times you're like, I'm trying to have fun and play and pleasure for my inner child. But your inner child right now isn't looking for fun and play and pleasure. What your inner child is looking for is help. Help letting go. Help letting go of the burden of the pain and the suffering that they've been carrying from this situation, whatever this is, whether this is a childhood trauma, or this is an ex-partner, an ex-co-worker, or an ex-boss that is reminiscent of a childhood wound. Okay, and the truth comes. Here's the thing, it's like Source is trying to tell you, like, the truth to your manifestation is you finding value in yourself right now instead of trying to seek a why. Why did I have to experience this? Why did I go through this? Why me? There is no why me that will ever placate the question that you're asking. There just isn't. It's not possible, because you'll always compare it to how you would show up. And because you would never show up in that type of energy, it will never make sense to you. And that's why it is more conducive to us to step into an energy of letting go, of relieving ourselves of that burden, of just saying, I can't change them. I can't control them. I'll never get an apology from them. I will never get a, hey, I acknowledge how I acted. It's just not ever going to come. And so instead of hoping with bated breath that it is going to come, let's take a deep breath in and release that breath and say, it's okay. It's okay for me to move on. Not that it's okay that they treated you this way, not that it's okay that they showed up in that way, but it's okay, and it is safe for you to move on. It is safe for you to let that part of your life be in the past. And I understand that this is so much easier said than done, but it is just a practice, continuing to show up, continuing to be there for yourself, continuing to love yourself, continuing to accept yourself when those very difficult moments will inevitably arrive. They're not going to be completely admonished on our journey. It's still something that's going to show up no matter what. But if we can be present with them, then we can allow ourselves to move through it instead of falling back into this negative energy. What do we have here? Yeah, saving yourself. The Knight of Swords is such a powerful energy. I absolutely love his energy, and he's all about being your own darn hero, okay? Like, he's coming in like, I gotta save myself from this energy. And I love that that's the last card that we turned over. Source wanted to talk about this before we even got to that, because Source showing here that you're the only one that can do this. You can absolutely ask your spiritual team for assistance in helping guide you through this process, and they will be there with you every step of the way, Pile 1. But the only one who has control over what you do with this energy is you. You can choose to let it continue to block you from manifestations. You could continue to hold on to it, hoping one day that these people will get their crap together and give you exactly what you were owed. Or you can say, you know what, it hasn't come thus far, so it's probably not ever gonna come, and I'm tired of holding on to it. Because I feel the exhaustion. I feel the exhaustion from you. And you know what? Honor that. Honor that it's been an exhausting process. Honor that it's been a painful process. Honor that it's been a suffering and a broken heart that you've gone through. You didn't deserve what happened, but we cannot change all the people in the world, no matter how much we wish we could, right? And I talked about that in the collective message too. Many of us hope to wear a cape and be Superman or Superwoman or super person or superhero, and we think that we're the ones that have the power to ultimately change another person just by us healing and carrying the burden alone. But we've carried the burden for far too long. We carried the burden before it was our burden to carry, and then we carried the burden after we said, I'm going to choose this burden so that I can make it what I want it to be. What if it's not ever meant to be what we want it to be, but the truth was just to let it go and let the burden be whatever it was way back there on the beach, and just keep walking straight ahead and find something that is more in alignment with you, something that's more peaceful and more pure and more suited to the energy that you're in. Right? This is not an easy energy to deal with. This is somebody who is narcissistic. This is somebody who has narcissistic tendencies, whether that is covert, whether that is grandiose. This is somebody who uses other people as a means for their own end. And unfortunately, until said person or said people decide to choose themselves in sense of healing, and to choose to let go of their own baggage and step into a more aligned version of themselves, there's no amount of you doing the work for them that will ever make them change. There's no amount of telling them deep truths that will ever make them see how they've hurt you. There's no amount of defending yourself that will ever show them that they really, really dropped the ball on this one. Because in their minds, you were a means to an end. And when that road ended, so did all that stuff that they did to you. It was out of sight, out of mind. It's in their subconscious, and it's continuing to control them at some point. But they're still not thinking about you the way that you're thinking about them. Why are we going to let them win in that manner? And that's why the Knight of Wands, or the Knight of Swords, is here, rushing in to save you, to cut ties with this Emperor in reverse, to help protect yourself so you can move on to brighter days. Brighter days are going to come. So, Source, can you give us a sneak peek into what it looks like for Pile 1 when they're finally able to let go? Exactly. And before I even move on, like, let's just take a second here, because the Wheel of Fortune is turned by Fortuna. She's actually out here outside turning the wheel, right? Sometimes we're moving up, sometimes we're at the top, and sometimes we're falling from fortune. And that's just the way the world works, right? That's the cyclical nature of life. But Fortuna's out here turning the wheel. But for it to come out here on the Ace of Swords, we see that the Emperor right now is what's been turning your fortune. And not for the better, but it can be for the better if you choose to reframe the way you're looking at this. If you choose to look at it from a place of self-empowerment instead of trying to figure out a why. And I know we're curious people. We're a curious bunch, we are. We're always wanting to know why, because we are curious. But sometimes that curiosity is what gets us into so much trouble, because there is no answer to the curiosity. What does their life look like when they're able to let go, Source? Can you give us a sneak peek of what's next? There's going to be a lot of good things that come in for you, I feel. What more can you tell us? Yeah, and I also feel like with the Two of Coins coming out here, there's going to be a lot of twists and turns. It's not that life suddenly becomes super easy. Let me close the window because they're about to mow here. So it's going to get loud. I have to leave it cracked though because I have the incense burning for the poor dogs. But we have this energy here where there's, you're able to maintain your direction, your speed, when you're able to let go. No matter what comes, there's already going to be a myriad of twists and turns no matter what. And it's not to dishearten you. It's just to remind you that life happens regardless of who's in it. Right? So let's see what's on the bottom of the deck here. Yeah, and love is coming into your life. Okay, so this could have been an ex. This could be a relationship past. But it's been riddled with a lot of fear. And now with the Sun and the Six of Cups here, it's showing, what do we have underneath this? Judgment. Yeah, judgment will inevitably come to call you home. You'll be finding balance again after a very difficult situation. And with that balance comes either something you really love to do or a new relationship coming into your life, pile one. Let's see, changing your perspective with the Hangman here. So very powerful, very clear message here. You're going to see things from a whole new world. A new fantastic point of view. Yeah, a new fantastic point of view. That's it, like a whole new perspective. You're not going to be looking at this for the why any longer. You're going to be seeing what this brought to your life, the strengths that it helped you to embrace, the thought processes that it helped you to release, right? And I actually talked about this in my last reading for one of the piles, where it's like, I talked about my ex. I had a really hard time with my ex. He was incredibly abusive, a grandiose narcissist, like a very hard time with him. And when I left, I went through that same energy of the why. Why did I have to deal with him? Like, I know I'm a good person. I'm a loving person. I'm a kind person. I'm a giving person. Like, why did I have to be with someone who's like that, who treated me that way, and who put me through a literal living hell? And I didn't know how to overcome it. I didn't know what to do for the longest time. But now that I've healed from that situation, I realized that he was mirroring back to me some of my deepest, darkest, subconscious patterns that I would otherwise have never faced. And being able to face those with a real person and put them on a real person helps me put it in perspective for myself that I am an empowered person. I do have options. I don't have to stick around because I have settled for something. I don't have to settle for this. Right? And oftentimes that's what's really hard about it, is realizing that we're being mirrored back to us the things that we're not choosing for ourselves because we so badly want someone to blame. It's much easier to blame a person. My mom always told me, be careful who you point your finger at and blame, because there's always three fingers pointing back at yourself. And it wasn't until I really started this journey that I understood the depth of what she was telling me. Of course, this person may have instigated that shadow response or reaction within us, but ultimately it's up to us to do the healing within ourselves so that we can make informed choices for ourselves moving forward. What are we going to do about it? Are we going to keep staying in a toxic situation because we feel like we don't have any other choice? Or are we going to choose something better for ourselves and work with this shadow part of ourselves and let it go? And it's okay if you keep going back to an old version of yourself. It just means you weren't ready to move on yet, and that's okay, right? A source really wants to point out that for your manifestations, this is what's next. Your manifestations will start flooding in, especially for getting not only the second house, but both Sagittarius and the Wheel of Fortune here, which is Jupiter energy. So you may have Jupiter in the second house in Sagittarius. Okay, so that could be something very specific to someone here. It doesn't have to be, but you could also have a lot of Sagittarius placements in the 12th house as well as coming in. But your manifestations are directly correlated to how you feel about yourself. And that includes past energies that may be hidden, that may not be in your consciousness yet or in your awareness yet, but that are being brought forth slowly and surely so that you can handle them one at a time. But I do feel like love is coming into your life here. Love of something, a passion for something, but this is the soulmate card in the Tarot Marseille. And so when we look at that, the Tarot the Tarot Marseille is saying that there's a potential soulmate who's coming in, who's a part of your soul tribe, who's going to be there with you through thick and thin. This is a very, very close-knit connection. So let's get some more out here for you, pile 1. Bottom of the deck, we have yang energy. It's time to make a choice for yourself: proactivity, expression, doing, and forward motion. And it's making me think of that. You have to defend yourself and move forward now. That's the option. Instead of trying to passively make things change, what are you going to do about it for yourself now? Instead of trying to be passive receiving an answer, what are you going to do about it for yourself now? Let's get a love card for you, pile 1. Honor. Honor your loved one, and you will notice your relationship become stronger. And I feel like, look at that. There's this very interesting picture here, but we have water that is almost covering the man here and is touching the woman. And I feel like stepping back into your emotions, even if you're not a divine feminine here, but it's feeling like this energy of stepping back into your emotions and saying, what are they teaching me? Honor the relationship with yourself and what it's teaching you here, and that will help you connect to someone who's already grounded in their own emotional well-being. And that's something that's very powerful coming through for you here. Okay, bottom of the deck, this fell off, and then this one. So illusion here is avoid the trap of mistaking a fantasy for a true soul connection. So please remember that just because it looks fantastic on paper doesn't make it fantastic in real life. You have to see it without the rose-colored glasses on. And we have admire here. It's time to think of everything that you admire in your partner, or that you admire in a potential partner. What does that look like for you? And being honest with yourself, right? You've already gone through the process of learning what love is not. So what does love look like to you now? Let's get some more out for you. And don't worry, I'll pull some career cards as well. So we'll look into all aspects with this. A new start is coming. Yeah, so this is a new moon. This is a new beginning. Setting your intentions moving forward. I choose to let go of the past so that I can step into a bright new future. That's what this feels like, okay? All right, let's get some more out for pile 1. Source, what more would you like to share with pile 1? Whoa. Archangel Uriel, passion, spirit connections. Okay. A clear confirmation of what I was feeling earlier with the 6 of Cups. This is either soul tribe, soul spirit connections, right? Soul tribe, or something that you're super passionate about that's getting reignited in your life. And Archangel Uriel is here to help you ground that into your reality. Archangel Uriel is connected with the Pentacle, okay? The Pentacle. He's also connected with North, and North energy is like, to me right now, I feel like that's moving up and out, up and out. We're moving to our North. We're moving into our North node, right? But that is something that's coming through. And I do feel like Archangel Uriel is definitely someone, if you haven't worked with, you might want to start working with him if you feel called to it. You don't have to. But for those of you that work with archangels or any of the angels, he can be a very powerful ally for you right now, okay? Source, what else for pile 1? Perseverance. I know what I can do. Wow, let's try that again. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to, exactly. When you make a choice, there's nothing that will stop you, pile 1. You will move on from this, and it will be the most beneficial thing that you can do. But I also feel like it'll be super refreshing. Like you can finally take a breath of relief. Abundance. I'm a limitless being, and I can manifest whatever I desire in this reality. So coming into a state of abundance, that's where you're meant to go. That's where Source wants you to go. And you've asked for so many amazing things that Source wants to bring you into alignment with those things. And that can be such a challenge when you're holding on to a past situation or past type of energy. But when you let go, you begin to make space to start the snowball effect. And that's what I keep seeing, the snowball effect. When you accept it, you're pushing it down the hill, and then it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It's never stopping. Baby steps. Yeah, look at this. Action. Follow your intuition before it makes sense. Okay, baby steps. This is an action that you're meant to do. Okay, they've made that incredibly clear here. This is something you're meant to physically let go of. And it's an energy where you say, I'm done trying to figure out the why. I'm done trying to figure out why this came into my life, what it was that it was trying to teach me or anything like that. And instead, I just let it be a part of my past, knowing that I am empowered, I'm strong, I am capable, and I'm free to make new choices now, right? That's really what this feels like. Baby steps, my friends, baby steps. Inch by inch, it becomes a cinch. My mom always told me that. Spring, see your seeds grow. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, you've planted some pretty prosperous manifestations, like incredibly prosperous. You had some incredibly big asks. You might have written it down. You might have, burned it in the fire to let it go or whatever. And it's just been like seemingly forever that it hasn't come into your life. And it's because there's this energy that keeps popping up. And when you just finally accept that this was a part of your life, this was a chapter in your life, like if it was a loved one, right? Like if it was a past partner, just accepting, you know what? When I got together with them, I made the best choice for myself at that time with the information I knew how, but I'm not that person anymore. I'm someone completely different. Today, I know I have options and I do not have to settle, and I choose to make the most aligned choices for myself, right? It's just reframing it. Instead of trying to figure out some explanation, letting it go and saying, it happened, I can't change it, but I can change my now into a better future. And that's what I choose to do, right? Look at this, autumn. So we have going from autumn to spring, spring to autumn, right? We have release the old and rest. So release is such a powerful energy here for you, pile one. Let go and flow. Let go and be, right? What about career? Can we get some career information for pile number one? I feel like I want to get one more. Perspective flying in with the black swan. So could be meeting a loved one, taking steps. Oh my gosh. All right. So before we even look at the bottom, look at this. We had baby steps on the bottom, and then perspective we had with the hangman here. It says if you change the way you look at things, you could see everything in a brand new light that will help you get to where you want to be. Perspective is the number one key here. And then taking steps. Action is key to getting where you need to go. You can't wait around. Take a step in any direction to get unstuck and find opportunities. Look, and isn't this interesting? The shoes are here, but the person's gone, but we see the shadow of the person, right? So again, you're the only one that can move this forward. No one can move those shoes for you. You have to move them. It's just an interesting symbolism, because it's showing that right now the shadow is what's in control. The shadow is what's connected to the shoes. It's time for you to step in your own shoes and make a change for yourself. Bottom of the deck, we have I'm done. Source, thank you so much. We've got manifesting. You have the power to manifest what you want by writing your intentions down and taking inspired action to make it happen. Inspired action. What? Action. What? Action. That's what you're taking. Action. I let it go. That's an action. I choose to let it go. That's an action. It's a choice. It's moving you from one place of being to a new place of being. Okay, what a powerful message for you, pile number one. And then let's get an answer oracle here. I actually want to get two. Okay, yeah, it felt it right away. Felt it right away. Okay, bottom of the deck, we've got chaos. Exactly. Instability, unrest, unpredictability, and corruption. You cannot make sense of chaos. There is no making sense. There is no unwinding it. There's no unraveling it. There's no trying to understand it. It's chaos. It's chaos. So instead of choosing to focus on the chaos, choose to focus on your peace. Okay? There's something here that was unpredictable. It was unstable. It left you in unrest. It was corrupted. Whatever you want, whatever you choose to look at it as is fine. It's just remembering to let it go and say, I choose my peace. My peace of mind is more important than this chaos. I don't want to be in this chaos anymore, so I choose not to be. Mercury, Think, learn, network, and communicate. So you're learning how to show up differently here. Okay, and part of that could be connecting with new people, right? Let yourself think about new ways to create opportunities for yourself, or already just observe the situation as it is and say, what opportunities are here for me right now? And if you allow yourself to sit with it, the answers will be made clear. Work through your fears. New moon in Scorpio. Yeah, so this is a deep-seated fear. This is the shadow coming up for you here, and working through it will help set you free. Shaman, healing energy. This is something you're meant to heal. And again, I was feeling that earlier with the childhood wounding. We see that here, but there's a lot of wisdom here, and this is something that's been making you move through instinct, right? The instinct is to want to know the why. But when those moments come up where you're instinctually saying, well, why? Say, you know what? There is no why. Can you be okay with that? Just say that to yourself. There is no why. Can I accept that? Because I choose to accept that and move on. And that's what it's saying here. Okay. So we have the seas of Mintaka, seeing potential, bringing unconscious to light, bringing the shadow forward. That's exactly what this is. We're bringing the shadow forward. An incredible power. This is like a powerhouse message here. We're bringing the unconscious to the consciousness. Okay. Timing. Deadline, synchronization, rhythm, and moment. So this is all about divine timing at play. And the reason why that's so powerful is because you had to get to a point where you're ready to let go of that one question. Why me? Why this? Why them? Why did they act like this? That one question. When you let that go, that's when you're ready to move into a more abundant state. But that's what divine timing is. It's like all the cogs on the clock have to fall into place, okay? And then we have threat. Yeah, feud, a natural enemy and a deadly threat. Like, the thing is that this person, this situation, it's a threat. It's a threat, and it feels threatened by you. And so naturally, it's a threat to you because it feels threatened by you. And so it's going to do what it can to harm you. Right? To harm your energy, to harm your mentality, to harm your emotional state of being, whatever it was, it viewed you as a threat. They viewed you as a threat. It was not because you're you. It was because you made them, right, shaman, you made them see parts of themselves that they were happy being completely unaware of. And so their retaliation was acting in the way that they were. It does not excuse it by any means. And that's why I'm saying, like, even that, it's not a profound enough excuse to say, well, okay, I can accept that and move on. It's just looking at it like, if it was you, if it was your cousin down the street, if it was your best friend 3 towns over, whomever it was that was in that same energy that you're in, okay, in that loving, kind, healing energy, they would have seen as a threat and they would have shown up the same way. So it's not anything personal. It's just that you were someone that mirrored back to them the parts of themselves that they like to keep hidden in the dark. They like to maintain an image, and that's what they excuse themselves from reason because of that. And that's why you can't reason with chaos. You can't, you know, they say you can't argue with a dumb person. Like, I don't like calling people dumb, but that's the same type of energy here. You cannot argue, you cannot convince somebody who is so rooted in being toxic that their ways are incorrect or their ways are harming people. They just don't see it that way because they don't care enough to see it that way. So that's why it's important to let it go. And that's why it's important not to try to find reason with it, because there is no reason, because it doesn't make sense. So we're going to take a look at your card. I'm going to read this from the book. We're going to see what it says. Mother Earth, nurturing yourself. Look, we've got number 22 here, which is a master number of trust. Trust in the process, trust in source, trust in how you're moving forward. Oh my goodness, if I can open the book here to the page. I opened to 23, but I could not open to 22. That's funny. So trusting in the process. It says the trees are our lungs, the rivers our circulation, the air our breath, and the earth our body. Quote by Deepak Chopra. It says your heart is open and your intentions are pure. Know that you are being guided and matured by Mother Earth herself. She embraces you with her beauty and wisdom in all that you do. She reminds you of your light through the illuminating stars, your beauty through her flowers, your sacred knowledge and balance through her trees. Nature guides you in every facet of your life, dear one. Mother Earth calls out to you in love. Earth Guardian, you're being called to assist humanity in remembering its divine connection to nature. Now is the time to express and share your creativity and wisdom even further. It is through the sharing of your love and talent that others will be inspired to journey deeper realms within themselves. Transformation and the healing of the earth starts within every human being. The earth simply reflects our inner state, right? Reflecting back to us something that we weren't ready to see. The earth reflects that. It's a natural part of the process. We are all part of one consciousness, expressing it in its many forms. When we die, our body dissolves into the earth, which then nourishes the soil, which feeds the trees and the plants, forever weaving, never adding or subtracting in this cosmic connected dance of life. If humanity can focus on healing and nurturing the worlds within themselves, the earth will come to reflect their higher vibrational light and energy. Your work, Earth Guardian, is to assist others to remember their true divine selves and reconnect to the natural world. Do what you came here to do. Share your light, walk your walk, and do all this with continued truth and integrity. Your affirmation is, I am dissolving into the oneness of all that is. Your associated chakras are the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown, which are the spiritual bridge. The spiritual bridge. So see, you're here to bring spiritual wisdom, knowledge, and essence into this physical realm, Mother Earth. And some people are not okay with that because it means that you're coming from a place of divine love. And unconditional love is so vastly different than the conditional loving environments that many of us have grown up in. And that's why it rubs certain people, i.e. certain situations, in a wrong way. Your mission is not to change those people. Your mission is to continue forward with your message in hand and allow it to feed and nurture the souls who are ready to receive it. And if they're not ready to receive it, do not let them drag you down with you, because your manifestations are directly related to that feeling of purpose, that sense of self-worth, and knowing that you deserve good things in this moment, okay? So you have a beautiful, beautiful soul pile, number one, and you're here to do amazing things. Please remember that bogging yourself down, trying to figure out why people are the way that they are, is only keeping you from spreading your amazing light to the people who are ready to receive it, okay? So this is what I have for you today. If you would like to claim this reading, you can leave the little earth emoji down below. And if you'd like to go even a little bit further, let's breathe in today's affirmation, which is, I choose to nourish myself in grounded truth, knowing that I'm here for the people who wish to connect with me, and I let go of all the others, and I am safe. All right. And if this reading spoke to your soul today, please you're welcome to share your story in the comments, subscribe to the channel. You can support our journey and explore today's tools in the description box links. And I would like to offer my deepest gratitude to your guides, your spirit messengers, your angels, source, and my spirit guides for anchoring in this energy for us today, pile one. And until next time, stay human. Bye. Welcome back, my fellow humans. I'm so honored to be here sharing this human experience and walk this path of growth and healing with you today. Remember that if a trigger arises during this reading, please don't force it to fit. And also maybe view that friction as a sacred blueprint for your own personal healing and growth. So for those of you that were drawn to pile 2 with this pink dice and Libra on it, or perhaps you felt called to this Moonstone, or maybe you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be a reading on the shocking message they just revealed. Now, for you, pile 2, I was getting this energy right away about freedom. So they're revealing something about the freedom that you've been asking for. It's been something that maybe you've been deeply wishing for, wanting to align with, and that can be freedom in anything, right? Freedom in career, freedom in life, freedom in love, whatever it is, but it has to do with the freedom that you've been asking for. So the way that this is set up is we're going to ask the dice first, we're going to move into the tarot, and we will look at the oracle cards last for additional guidance and information. So let's hop to it and find out what Source would like to tell you in regards to the shocking message that Source just revealed in regards to freedom for pile 2, Source. The shocking message you just revealed in regards to freedom for pile number 2. What would you like to say? You know, it's interesting. Before I even look at this, I just feel like a sense of solitude and silence. Like there's something here where you just, maybe you've been working really hard, or you've been living with somebody who's really incredibly difficult, or you've been dealing with an incredibly challenging situation. And whatever it is, it just feels like you've been going non-stop. There hasn't been a moment where you can take a break or rest. And I just feel this sense of like finally being able to step back and truly just be. And I feel like that's a foreign feeling to you, pile 2, but it is something that you have desperately asked for, because you have had this, it's hectic. It's a hectic energy, like constantly on the go, trying to make a name for yourself, trying to overcome something, trying to push through something. You just always have to be on your A game and your guard, and you're tired with reason. You're tired, you're exhausted, you're spent, and you're at the end of your rope, I feel. And it's like, I'm ready just to take a break, like a much needed vacation or a staycation, or time away from somebody, or finally cutting ties with somebody and forging your own path next. But that's what this feels like. Is there's something that's coming where you're gonna be able to have this sense of that's what it feels like. Just a sigh of relief. Okay, I can do this now. I've got this break under my belt, and I can move forward with more vigor and excitement than I've ever had before, because I can finally just lay this to rest for what it is. And that's what I'm getting right now. Yeah, okay, so we've got the 7th house, we've got Virgo energy, and we've got Venus. Yeah, okay, this has to do with some sort of connection or relationship partnership. Also, the 7th house does deal directly with marriages and divorces, contracts, anything along those lines. So it's in regard to that. It could be a contract with a client. This could be a business partner that you're dealing with. This could be an ex or a divorce you're going through. This could be finalizing a romantic relationship or moving it to the next level, just wondering if it's going to move to the next level here. And I do feel like there's this sense of, the reason why it's been really hectic is because there's this want for things to unfold in a specific and perfect way. I keep looking at it like, I need it to go this way. I need it to unfold this way. I need this to come to fruition. I need this to happen. And that's what you've been focused on and focused on creating. And you've done so much work in regards to that. And the next step for you is to step into this Venusian energy where you can enjoy a bit of luxury for yourself, right? So let's just say this is the example where maybe you signed a contract with somebody and you're building a business with them or building a deal with them, and you've done the most of the work here because you're trying to maybe present them their client or their partner or something, and you have to prove yourself, right? Prove your worth, in other words. Not that you're not worthy, but of course there's situations where we do have to put our best foot forward and show that we're capable of the job that we're going into or whatever. And through that, it does feel like that you've had to do so much work, and it's been super busy, and you've been constantly on the go. And then they say, you know what, you're the right person for the job. You did all these things that I expected. You went above and beyond, and you get the contract, and then you're able to just, okay, cool, let's move forward from here. If this is a marriage or a divorce or something like that, it's things working out in your favor, like taking it to the next level or finally getting that verdict that you want, whatever it is. But there's just something here where there's been a lot of upset, and it could have been dealing with a very challenging person, and you were finally able to see it for what it is and create some sort of emotional and mental barrier when it comes to them. And creating that boundary has given you a means of stepping back and saying, finally, I'm not privy to their chaos. I'm not privy to what they're doing, right? But it does feel like whatever's next is you feel that sense of luxury. There's a sense of where you get to treat yourself, where you get to finally be the stability for yourself, where you are now realizing the work, the hard work that you've done. It's humbled you in many ways, but it's something that you can equally be proud of. Whether that's shadow work, the 7th house can also tie into some shadow work as well. Not as deeply as much the 8th house might be, the subconscious blocks and those things, but 7th house and Libra energy, since you chose Libra, you could have Libra highly aspect in your chart or have been dealing with a Libra, but Libra can also talk about dealing with the shadow, okay? It's the balancing out of the scales, right? We're balancing out the scales. So instead of the shadow being what's fully down and running us and ruling us, and also we don't always want just the good things running us either. We need some sense of balance there, because if we're always in the good, when life happens and inevitably the shadow or the hard times, hardships are going to come, then it also tips so much in the other direction. So we're not looking for these one exaggeration over the other. We're looking for some balance within that, right? We want it to be balanced across the board so that when life's up and downs are going to happen, we're stable in our own energy. And so it could be like, well, of course I want it to be all good, but life is inevitably going to bring challenges. That's just what it is in this realm. No matter how awakened we become, no matter how amazing we are manifesting, there are billions of other consciousnesses here as well. And there's just things that are going to happen that are outside of our control. Whether you look at that as the reflection of light from within us, and we're creating our own theater show in front of our eyes, or if you see that as we're many leaves in one tree, or whatever you see it as, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, there's inevitably going to be things that are just going to be outside of our control, because there's things we're learning along the way. And so without certain situations, we wouldn't have otherwise learned the strengths that we have to overcome said situation. And so I think with this energy, what Source is really trying to point out here is the fact that you're learning how to remain balanced, humble, and strong and empowered in states of chaos and in states of turmoil, without losing who you are, whether that's with relationships, with life, with business, with your career, what have you. You're finally learning how to maintain yourself, and in maintaining yourself, it gives you the room to breathe and to truly be present for whatever it is that you need, whether that is spiritual care, self-care, mental care, taking a vacation, enjoying fine luxuries in life within reason. I don't feel like there's super excess here or just yet. That might be something that comes down the line, but that's what's happening here. So it's like moving away from this feeling of having to overextend yourself like you did in the beginning, and coming into a place where now there's balance, and that balance brings with it a sense of stability and security that you haven't had an opportunity to work with yet. And that can come from a collaboration. Collaboration energy is coming in really strongly here. So it's either somebody you're working with, or a team that you're working with, or someone that you're building something with, a partnership, a love relationship, something along those lines. So let's find out more about the shocking message that you just revealed, Source. What's more about the shocking message for pile 2? Okay, thank you. Yeah, a huge change in your fortune is coming. That's what they're saying. A huge change in your fortune is coming. Okay, so more about the shocking message for pile number 2. Okay, more about the shocking message for pile number 2, Source. Okay. More about the shocking message for pile number 2. It's how you're thinking about it. Yeah. Okay, so this does feel like a divorce. Now, if that's not your story, that's okay. It could just be talking about the dissolution of some sort of partnership here, or finally allowing it to be in the past. But with the Pope here in the reverse, with the 8 of Swords and the 7 of Swords, 7 of Swords in the reverse and the 8 of Swords here, this does feel like the dissolution of a marriage or a partnership or a connection or friendship. It could be anything like that. Some sort of relationship, family. This could be you cutting ties with a family member. Whatever it was, this family member really created some chaos, but it wasn't just chaos. Like, they were trying to make it seem like they were correct in acting the way that they were acting. Like, there's a lot of arrogance here, and I don't usually get that with the Pope, but that energy is coming in really strongly. Like, there's a lot of arrogance here with the Pope. Like, I expect you to respect me type energy because I'm big and you're small. I'm the adult, you're the child type energy, right? And it didn't have to be that way. Like, you could have been married to this person or in a love relationship with this person, but they still viewed you as less than them for some reason. And there was a lot of times when maybe you've gone out of your way to try to make this situation work, to try to make this situation whole, right? And that was creating a lot of anxiety for you. And that anxiety itself was the driving force of how hard you worked in trying to make this whole, right? So if it was a project or something like that, your anxiety from whatever this situation was is actually what drove you to work so hard. And it's actually incredible. There's this incredible energy that's coming through where it's like, if you didn't have that trigger, you wouldn't have otherwise worked as hard as you did. But working as hard as you did actually opened up even more opportunities for you than you would have had if you hadn't have put forth this amount of effort, right? So if this is a divorce, the anxiety that you had when dealing with this person maybe drove you to researching about certain topics, or researching about your rights, or researching about the options that you have in asking for a divorce and taking that route, like getting mediation or something along those lines. And it helped you to be prepared when you finally sat at the table, or when you finally sit down at the table. It's helping you to be super prepared for whatever this person may throw at you. Right? If this was like a family member, actually healing from this situation helped you to relinquish a pattern where you didn't feel like you could step up into a position of leadership and control. Instead, you had been controlled by them for so long because it was that subconscious trauma that was at play. And now stepping up into an empowered state of control for self is showing you that you have the right to take a leadership position, which is thus alleviating the anxiety and the fear. And it's also showing you where all that hard work that you put forth in this with the 7 of Swords in the reverse, this is like things not working out. Like, no matter how hard you work, they're just not going to work out, right? It's getting stuck in an endless cause and still wanting to put forth the energy, but still at the end of the day, it's like putting so much energy in and realizing like, okay, at what point do I realize that no matter what I do, it's not going to be received, right? And so the 7 of Swords here shows that you actually have become aware of this energy here. When it comes to your freedom, you realize, like, if I take that same amount of energy that I was putting into this situation that was so difficult for me, and I pour it into something that truly matters for me, what happens? And those are the doors that start opening for you. And I feel like that's where your sense of freedom starts to unfurl, because you start to see that and realize that all this effort to maintain a relationship was so much harder than the effort needed to create the life and the manifestations and the dreams that you wanted. Let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. Yeah, the House of God. You might know this is a tower, but in the Tarot Marseille, it's called the House of God. And it's literally like the wisdom of spirit coming in and knocking the crown off the ego, right? And both our conscious self and our emotional ego fall out of the tower that the ego so proudly claimed and said, this is how we're gonna be, and we're gonna fight to the end, and we're gonna take this. And we did. We fought to the end until spirit came in, until source came in, until our higher selves came in and said, okay, we need to get on with that. It's done. It's over with. But it comes from so much work, whatever work you were putting in. Somebody here who's very cold, very distant, very critical, and very, very cunning, maybe even a little duplicitous here. This is someone who's incredibly calculating. Like everything that you did, they used as a means to manipulate, belittle, and hurt you in this situation. They're very calculating. Okay, but when you came to terms with the fact that there was a lot of calculations being done in this situation, like finally open the door for your higher self to come in. And when your higher self came in, it brought in all of this integration from work that you've done, like self-healing, letting go of the shadow, connecting with your inner child, realizing traumas that you've gone through. You don't have to identify with them anymore. This is literally the shedding of the emotional ego here. And your pride gets hurt, right? Like your pride gets hurt. I don't care what people say, but that's just something that we experience once we finally are able to step into our spirit. Our pride gets hurt from us trying to hold on to a past part of ourselves for so long. And that's a part of the process, because we see that that's when we can truly start to grieve that process, right? And that's okay. It's just a part of the process. It's not about being right or wrong about it. It's just that's the process we go through shedding the ego. And I feel like with this, it was just like wanting to be able to maintain control, but then finally coming to the realization that control was never yours. It was always in the hands of this person or this situation. This King of Swords in the reverse, whatever this represents in your life, they're the ones that were in control because you were unknowingly giving your power to them. And that's where it's changed. That's what's stopped here. And that's why this is something that has shifted for you. But I feel like for many of you, this is also a new opportunity that's coming into your lap. Not that this opportunity is calculating, not that the people involved in this situation are calculating. I feel like you've learned some incredible skills dealing with somebody like this in your past that you had to let go of. This could have been a Gemini, a Taurus, somebody with prominent Uranus placements, heavy Gemini, heavy Taurus energy, Virgo, Libra, or an Aquarius. Okay, or you could have those highly aspect in your charts. You could also have Aquarius in the 7th house, or have Uranus in Aquarius in the 7th house is coming in as well. Okay, but the thing is that there's a past situation here that's playing a part in how you proceed with your endeavors in the future. And what's coming with that is the realization that as long as you put that hard work into yourself, as long as you put that means of routine direction and your day-to-day tasks for bettering yourself, for inspiring and motivating yourself, that you are seeing that opportunity is everywhere, where before you were only seeing the obstacle that was in front of you. And there's no longer obstacles that are going to be in front of you, even if there are obstacles, right? Those inevitable setbacks, those inevitable hardships that are going to come through life that give us character. That's what gives us true character on our journey. It's easy to sit up here as a reader and say, oh, you overcame this hard thing, you'll never have to deal with another hardship ever again. But that's just not the reality of life. Life is life, and it's going to keep lifing. And that's just, but in spite of that, what you've learned, Pile 2, are tools how to approach that and how to overcome those difficult situations in a profound way. And with that, making opportunities appear out of nothing. And that's what's happened with this situation. And that's why there's a breath of relief here, because before, maybe you didn't believe in magic, or you didn't believe in the magic of manifestation, right? And through this process of letting go of something that was super burdensome and working so hard at whatever it was, there's some sort of self-help driving that. Whether it initially started as connecting with this person on a deeper level, manifesting them back into your life, or trying to maintain a positive relationship, or finally getting the apology that you wanted, or whatever it was, like there was self-help that was driving that, and that self-help actually drove you down this really crazy winding road until you were able to truly integrate everything that you were learning from that self-help, whether that was a book that you were reading, or journaling, or some sort of program you were taking, whatever it was. This situation helped to actually integrate all that information into your current reality. And there's this like little switch that flips somewhere along the way, where now when you look at what's in front of you, you're assessing it for what it really is, instead of the potential of what it has to be. You're saying, is this already trying to step into its potential on the way to positive change? Or is this lacking potential and sticking into a negative vibration and making a discerned decision based on that, on what's going to align with you and what's not going to align with you? But that came from shedding of the ego from somebody or something here that was actually in control of you, that you had to maintain and take your power back from. That was a huge challenge. Because we have the 7th house here, I am inclined to feel like this is a relationship of some sort. Okay, but it could be a working situation, it could be anything. But let's find out some more here. Can you tell us more about the freedom that pile 2 will experience? What kind of freedom can they look forward to moving forward, Source? Yeah. Shoring up all those past situations, finally like seeing freedom, letting go of wanting to be validated for this. So, and again, we have to look at this objectively, right? When we look at the 7 of coins in the reverse, it's a neurotic need for validation. Okay, it's seeking validation from others, seeking validation for what you've experienced, seeking someone to say, I'm so sorry that you went through that. You're right. You have a right to feel the way that you do, which I'll be the person to say that you do. You absolutely have the right to feel the way that you did about this situation, the way that you currently do about the situation. You didn't deserve it. But this is seeking validation in the sense of feeding the ego, not seeking validation in the sense of recognizing that we have a right to feel the way that we feel, right? There's 2 different energies with that. When we're seeking validation for the ego, we're coming from a place that is limited. When we're seeking validation from within ourselves, that's a place of abundance, because now we can absorb that energy and transmute it into something else, instead of letting the ego say, okay, I got validation from person 1, thing 1 and thing 2, and now I need it from thing 4 and thing 5 and thing 9 and thing 10, and never enough, right? The ego, it's never enough for the ego. But this is that switching off from that, and that's the type of freedom that you're letting go of, is realizing, like, I don't need people to validate what I experienced, because I experienced it and I'm letting it go for what it was. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, the Ace of Cups. Reconnecting with your divine spirituality and your internal divinity. Okay, this is letting go of what has kept you in that heavy state for so long. So the freedom is truly coming into being able to understand what works best for you from a place of unconditional love. And true unconditional love is saying, even if someone's manipulative, I still love them. I love them from afar. I wish them the best, and I hope they find the path to healing themselves, but I'm not going to carry that burden for them, nor am I going to open the door to let them into my sacred space. but I can love them from afar and wish them well, right? There's that song and it's coming up again. I wish you well. I wish you well, right? Because what is it? Because honestly, your insecurities and your priorities, they tell me we aren't the same, right? And that's the thing. It's like if somebody's priorities are based on their insecurities, you have to let them live their life on that. You cannot try to change them from that. But I do feel like there's an old version of yourself that was trying to change somebody from their insecurities. You were trying to shoulder it yourself, or I'm just going to say this because it needs to be said in this. Like if this is a twin flame connection, there's a divine feminine here, or even a divine masculine, regardless, that's saying that I'm the one that can do all the healing that's going to make my divine counterpart finally come to me. What a burden. What an absolute burden. That is not Source's intention for us at all. Source wants us to come back home to ourselves, not to come back home for the sake of someone else. And that's sometimes what the spiritual community is pushing onto people who are in divine connections like that. They're saying it's your job because you're the one that's spiritually aware, and if you can't figure it out, you're not good enough and you did something wrong and you need to do more. Whew. Let's put that burden down for a second. Ugh. Let me just say, that's just a heavy burden to carry. It's so heavy saying that you're the only one that has control over whether or not this person finally opens up to love you. Why don't you put that down and say, I open up to loving myself? That's a much more profound realization than trying to be the person that this person needs in the spiritual realm, which we have no control over what the spiritual realm chooses to do for us, right? Like we can elicit change, yes, but if our highest good is coming into a state of self-love to come back home to ourselves, that's not necessarily inviting in our divine counterpart either. Even though I know a lot of people aren't okay with that and they want to be told, this is my divine counterpart. They're meant to come in. They're meant to do this. And I'm meant to experience the greatest love of all time with them. This, the Ace of Cups, is the greatest love you will ever experience in life. And this card literally talks about your connection with the divine. It doesn't get better than that. There's no physical person in this world that can love you as deeply as the divine loves you. I don't care if they're your twin flame. I don't care if they're your soulmate. I don't care who they are. Because humans are incapable of stepping into a true space of unconditional love. We're just not there yet. As a whole, we can be an embodiment of it, absolutely, but we're forever becoming more of unconditional love. The divine is already everything that unconditional love is through and through. No burdens, no trauma, no past, no future. This moment is that and that alone. And that's where the divine comes from. And it accepts us, our good decisions, our bad decisions, our love, our hate, our anger, our excitements, all of us in our entirety, in totality. It accepts us. It holds us. It admires us. It chooses us. It is us. It's forever all we've ever needed. But so much of the community forces us to look outward to this other person that we have this unexplainable connection with and say, they're the ones that you want. But the reason why we're so inexplicably attracted to them is because we see within them the parts of ourselves that we've been hiding from for so long. So what happens when we integrate all of those parts into ourselves? We come so close to touching the divine love that is, in such a sense that we're forever changed by it. And that's why I'm not here to tell you that you'll manifest your divine partner. I'm not here to say that you won't manifest your divine partner. That's not for me to decide. And it's not even for you to ultimately decide. Source has a plan for you. Trust that plan. But freeing yourself from the burden of trying to be enough for someone else, what a relief for finally letting it go. What a relief. Because right now, pile 2, and if you don't resonate with the twin flame message, that's all right, because this next message is for everybody here. Right now, in this moment, as you are, the good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly, the things you accept, the things you deny, whatever it is, right now, you are enough. And you are deserving of unconditional love. And the message is to come home to the only one who can give it to us, and that's our divine, our creator. The one who sees us through and through. The one who knows us before we even know ourselves. Because no person in this world will ever see us as clearly as the divine sees us. And that's such a heavy burden for you to carry, pile 2, so heavy. Trying to change yourself to be enough for anybody, whether that's a divine counterpart or a person in your life that you love. That's so unfair to you. And yet it's a burden that's pushed on so many of us, not just from society, but even from some spiritual communities, and it's overwhelming. Come back home. Come back home. Because Source will always keep their arms open to receive you. And that's what you deserve. Oh my goodness. Now my pup, she's got to come over, make sure I'm okay. She's such a love. Whenever I cry, she always just comes over here and kisses me and makes sure I'm okay. Lays down by me. That's love. That's love. Okay. So let's see what this card is. Let me take a drink, ground myself again. Yeah, the Queen of Coins. In the reverse here, you're moving away from this energy of people who don't care about the efforts that you're putting in. It doesn't mean anything to them. And your freedom is from that. Now you're stepping into a space where the people who see you actually care about the efforts that you're putting in. They support you and they want you to succeed. That's what you're closing those doors where all that effort before, it just was underappreciated. It went unspoken. No one gave you credit for it. No one said, wow, pile 2, you're doing an incredible job. So now you're stepping into realizing you are doing an incredible job for yourself, and you can encourage yourself, but also connecting with others who recognize that as well and want to empower you. Oh my goodness, let me wipe my eyes. I can't see. I had to take off my glasses and everything. I love you, pile 2. I love you so much. I know it's not easy. I know what you've been through. It's not easy. But your freedom is coming back home. Coming back to that unfaltering love. Air energy with Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, open-mindedness, objectivity, and learning. I was saying that like Gemini and Libra and Aquarius energies coming out very, very strong in this reading. So you could have that highly aspect in your chart, or this was somebody that you've been dealing with before. But you're learning how to maintain an open mind when things get difficult. You're learning how to look at things objectively. You're learning how to see the world as it is through new eyes of curiosity, and recognizing that there may always be mountains to climb, but the amazing thing about the mountains that we climb is that there's always a downhill after the climb, right? What is that Miley Cyrus song? It's about the climb, right? I don't know. I think that's the name of the song, The Climb. The Climb by Miley Cyrus. I don't know it well enough to even tell you the lyrics, but that might have additional meaning for some here. Whoa, okay. So we're going to get some love cards. These two are coming out. We're going to see what else comes out for you here. Obstacles. Look for ways around the obstacles to find happiness. That's just it. If the obstacles are what have stopped you, maybe it's not about bullying or controlling your way through the obstacle. It's about looking at it from a different perspective, or just seeing it from a different angle, right? It's not about control here. I feel like that's the thing. It's letting go of control and allowing. Maybe it's because you needed to climb over it instead of bust through it, right? Now is the time to take action with new moon in Aries. And I do feel like there's a sense of renewal here for you as well, pile 2. Look at the bigger picture. Full moon in Sagittarius, yeah. Instead of looking at it from this very narrow-minded place of like, it's me, I'm the only one that can do all this work, I'm the only one that can put forth this energy and this effort. That's not true at all, right? That's a place of lack. You're shouldering responsibilities that were never yours to shoulder in the first place. So taking a step back and saying, what's actually mine to carry, and carry that instead. Focus on healing that instead. That's where true freedom comes from, is recognizing that we're not here to carry everybody else through their journey. We can only help those who want to be helped. And some people, they don't want to be helped. I wish I could sit up here as a leader of a community and say, hey, the whole world wants your help, pile 2. They want it, they dig it, they love it, they're craving it. But the reality of the situation is, even if their souls are craving it, the emotional egos might not ever let that help become a reality. That's life. That's life. That's what old people say. Passions and interests, hobbies, sports, and favorite pastimes. Yeah, so again, reconnecting with the inner child, but doing it in a new way, right? In a new way. Pouring into your passions, pouring into your interests. This is like cutting cords and burning bridges even. Like, I know we don't want to burn bridges, but these are bridges you want to burn. That's what it feels like. You want to burn these old bridges that have been holding you back. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. We're on the groove. Yeah, there's no stopping you now. You're moving forward now. Friendship. Look at this. I love this. I understand that a friend is in my life for a reason. So again, coming back to the fact that this is connected with someone in your life, and also opening up to a new someone in your life that could very well start with a friendship, move into a love relationship, or building incredible soul ties in this life, that you have a soul family who is, they're there for you through thick and thin, right? They're your ride or dies. One person, 10 people. I mean, it's going to be different for each person. Wow. Whoa! Right away. Star ancestors. Wow. Hidden secrets, lost wisdom. Look a little deeper. Right? There's a song that's called that. 'Cause I look a little deeper. Feel a little sweeter. I think that's how it goes. By Alyssa. Is that her name? Alyssa something another? I don't know. If you guys know the song, would you comment it down below for other pile 2s? It's a huge help for you guys that do that. I really do appreciate it. But I do feel like this is also reconnecting with your soul tribe, with soul ancestors or star ancestors, or also reminding you of the wisdom from the past lives that you've lived in, if that's something that you believe in. But wisdom that you've gathered. There's like this total integration. What I was saying, all that hard work, that self-help, this is that total integration of all that self-help that's happening. Cracked open. Yeah, rock bottom. Surrender to the alchemy of life. This is something that's been really difficult for you. Cracked you open. But in order for our seed to grow, for our soul to blossom, we have to be cracked open. Our heart gets cracked open, which is, I feel like, the reason why we call it a broken heart. It's difficult to go through, but it's what allows us to blossom into someone stronger, more empowered, and ultimately a more aligned version of ourselves, if we allow it. If we don't become so jaded by it, we refuse to move on, right? But if we allow ourselves to keep moving forward and to recognize that better days are going to come, then we can let that grow into something magnificent. I feel like I want to give you guys a hug. Here's a big energetic hug for you, pile 2. Big, 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 big hug, okay? I love you so much. I really do. I just feel like you guys needed a hug. I felt it in my heart. All right. On the bottom, look at this. High Priestess. We have harness mystic power. So you guys are stepping into this incredibly mystic time in your life where you're going to be guided by your intuition and your heart. And there's going to be something here that mysteriously unfolds for you where suddenly things just become super simple, but also look incredibly intense from like outsiders to outsiders looking in. It's going to look incredibly intense, but for you, you're going to be like, this is the door I've been waiting for. And I feel like you're going to run through with excitement and ease and just so happy that it's here. This is what I'm getting with this High Priestess energy. So you're harnessing your creative magic is what's coming in. So let's get some career cards here, because this might be in regards to somebody you work with too, right? So what else would you like to share with pile number 2? I feel like this one, I feel like they want one more. What else would you like to share with pile number 2? That's the one right there. Thank you, Source. On the bottom, we have shedding. You're starting to outgrow your work situation. You need to set higher goals and standards. You work well in healing or medicine. And you could put whatever here. It doesn't have to be work situation. This could be a love relationship. This could be a life situationship, whatever it is. But you're outgrowing something here. And also healing and medicine, showing that you are healing. You are in this place of shedding the old, which we saw with the House of God, right? The shedding of the ego. Okay, so a lot of confirmations coming in. I love that. I love that confirmation for you. And let's get a couple of answer oracles for you, pile 2. Whoa. Thank you. One more answer oracle for pile 2. Right away. Wow, healing is huge for you, pile 2. Treatment, healing, comfort, surgery, and repair. So again, coming back to this, right? Healing and medicine. We're no longer playing the snake and rabbit game because there's a rabbit, fast changes underneath that, right? The snakes hunt the rabbit. Like, you're no longer in that energy of being hunted by people who aren't for you. Rather, coming into this incredible place where you are healing and finding. That's what I kept feeling, like a reprieve. There's something here where you're going to feel a sense of reprieve and enjoy some finer luxuries in life because you've overcome the recovery period. There's like a recovery period here, okay? Very, very profound energy here for you. Incredible energy. And I feel like that's just showing you that all the work that you've done is finally coming into a culmination period where you can finally cultivate everything that you've wanted. Courage, bravery, adventure, fatal, and brilliant. Yeah. So something that could have left you jaded and disconnected has actually turned you into someone who's incredibly brilliant, incredibly wise, and super brave, going through things that maybe others have shied away from, and you're not. You're just headed out on the journey. The seas are rough, right? The emotions are rough, but you're still making way. All right. So let's see what came out for you. We have Gemini energy, curiosity, intellect, and networking. So tons of air energy here, which also feels like connecting with the heart chakra as well. So the air signs are all ruled by the heart chakra. It's our breath, our ability to move through life through our breath. That's where our life force comes, is through pranayama, which is breath. And so that's our literal life, right? I love this because I watched this short not that long ago, and the guy was talking about, he's like, if I hold my breath for 4 minutes, right? And before you go, well, you die or whatever, right? Before you get to that, just listen to what he had to say. He said, and I think what was his name? One Chris, or Chris One, I think was his name. But he talked about it. He's like, if I hold my breath for 4 minutes, he's like, my brain doesn't stop. My heart doesn't stop. He's like, my body functions don't stop. My organs don't stop. My blood doesn't stop. What do I lose? I lose consciousness. That's what happens. I literally lose consciousness. If we don't have breath, we lose awareness. And so it's important for you to come back to your awareness with your breath. Your breath will keep you rooted in your awareness. And that's something that's incredibly powerful for you right now, pile 2. Feelings. Take time out to explore the deep feelings and the emotions you're experiencing. Yeah, so these emotions have been really deep for you. They've been really harsh. But when you explore them, allow yourself to feel them and move through them, you're going to free yourself from something that's been holding you back from your freedom. Temptation. Think carefully about the situation. And I feel like this is confirmation as to what I was saying about those of you that feel like you identify with the twin flame connection. There's a lot of tempting information out there. But if we stop and look at the bigger picture and from a place of where Source sees us, from unconditional love, does that information fit into that picture? And I know a lot of you are wanting to argue, and it's like, but Source wants me to have this love. This Source wants me to have the ultimate love in life. But maybe that ultimate love isn't from a person. Maybe it's from Source. And that's the freeing aspect of it, is taking the pressure off of it being on someone else's shoulders to save you and to give you that love, but bringing it back to ourselves. Right? And I'm not saying that Source doesn't want you to have that phenomenal love. I absolutely agree that Source wants everybody who wants that to have this intentional, present, healing, growing love in their lives. But if we can't have that with ourselves and with our Creator first, how can we ever expect to manifest that with another person in this life? Abandonment. This makes so much sense. So with feelings of unworthiness and rejection, there's something here where it's like, I'm afraid I'm going to be abandoned by this person or by this situation, right? We talked about that earlier. It's like I gave everything I had to this person, to my relationship, to my marriage, to create safety, to create connection, to make it deeper, whatever it was. But no matter what you did, they always rejected you. Right? They always rejected you. And maybe it's because that person was an old vibrational, in tune with an old vibrational version of you, and they weren't ready to grow. That's not on you. If they're not ready to grow, that's not on you. But it also reminds us that then we have to take responsibility for choosing what is right for us in that moment. Pride. We were talking about pride earlier even. I love myself and I see myself in everyone. The ego takes a hit. Our pride takes a hit when we shed the emotional ego. But with a purpose. With a purpose. It reminds us to take a step back and to not see it from the small mind that we had when we were in the emotional ego in the first place. Lady. Enjoy growth and reap the rewards. So your seeds are growing right now, right? You have a lot of abundance. Apples represent abundance. They're also, again, like something that feeds us, right? Like something that nourishes us. And then the star here is there's hope. So maintain your hope. Maintain your positive outlook. Good things are coming for you, right? So we have money matters. Money matters a lot now. Watch your expenses and save up for the future. You need to be prepared for the unexpected. So don't spend frivolously right now. There are things that you'll be able to enjoy luxuries in the future, but it's live like no one else right now, so later you can live like no one else, which means maybe doing, what is it they call like a no spend month, where you only buy the necessities and you don't spend on extras, right? What is that going to look like for your finances? Can you save up 6 months of an emergency fund where you have for sure 6 months in the bank account? If anything were to happen, you would be set for the next 6 months. And I know these are huge goals and they seem like that, especially if some of us are living paycheck to paycheck. That seems like absolutely impossible. But if we really break down our expenses, can we start stepping into living within our means, so that right now we say no to certain things that may seem really exciting and like, oh, I have to have that, and instead open up to what really matters, is that we want to create lasting wealth, not instantaneous riches, right? Movement. You'll make good progress now and you'll be able to overcome any obstacles in your path. Big leaps forward are possible. Yeah, so definitely this energy is very clear. You're making changes. There's a lot that's going to change for you moving forward. I'm done. I don't even want to look at the last card. We've got freedom. Freedom came out. What? Oh my gosh, I love this. You need to have more flexibility with your schedule and income. Being self-employed is ideal. Time off will help you get clear. Freedom is in the cards for you. Pile number 2. That was what I was feeling before I even got started on your reading. Freedom, freedom, freedom. Yes, the freedom is coming, right? Why do I also hear that other song? Because I'm free. Free falling. Seek guidance, help, and a miracle. So there's a miracle coming, but also seek. This makes me feel like, again, with this Ace of Cups energy, coming back home to source. That energy is real, coming in with the seek card, right? Come back to the light, come back home to yourself. There's something beautiful with your connection and the divine, but that can only be cultivated between you and the divine personally. Like, I can't cultivate that for you. Your mom can't cultivate that for you. Your partner can't cultivate that for you. Like, no one else can cultivate faith and that relationship with the divine. That is something that is so personal to each one of us, right? So I'm going to take a look at this card. We're going to read this from the book and see what it says. Mirrored souls. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is wild. That's wild. This is like the twin flame card in this deck. That's wild. So many of you might resonate with that journey, and that's okay, right? Again, I'm not the one that's here to say you're going to manifest this person. You're not going to manifest your person, because ultimately that's not for me to decide. And even if I were to ask source that directly, like, energy is fluid. It changes at any one moment. But what it's reminding you is that the twin flame journey is about coming home to ourselves, coming back home to our divine creation. It's not about this other person. It's never been about this other person. But, you know, we get so used to making it about things outside of ourselves. Of course, those of us that start resonating with the twin flame journey, we're going to make it about something outside of us right from the get-go, because that's all we've ever known. We've only ever known to put other people first. We've only ever known to put ourselves on the back burner. We've only ever known to work hard for another person, not ourselves. So it makes sense. Why not burden this? Why not put this on my shoulders that I can only heal my twin flame? They don't have to do anything. They're the Matrix twins. They're the ones that are stuck in the 3D. Like, they'll never understand the spiritual journey that I've had to go through. How unfair is that? Because the last time I checked is that those of us that are spiritual are still trying to figure out the Matrix as well. Right? We're still trying to learn manifestation along the journey. We're still doing both along the journey. Why? Because we're a complete soul manifested in a complete body, and they're a complete soul manifested in a complete body too. Regardless if they're still the same soul as us, we're still complete no matter how we look at it. But we're coming from this place of being shattered, and if we never get rid of that idea that we're shattered, we can never meet them as a whole person. And that's the flawed thinking. Oh, are you okay, baby girl? My dog, she just fell on the thing. Hold on, let me go check on her and we'll read this card. All right, she's okay. I just had to make sure because she looked very uncomfortable in the way she fell, but she's okay. All right, so yeah, we're looking at this mirrored souls energy. Let's read this from the book and see what it says. Such a powerful, connective, and synchronistic reading, truly. It says, there's an undeniable spiritual connection here with this other soul. This will help you see all facets of yourself. And I talked about that earlier. We actually fall in love with them because we fall in love with parts of ourselves that we're hiding from, and they're carrying them so beautifully. Right? We're like, oh, wow, look at them. That's so cool. I wish I could do that too inside. But instead it comes out as this romantic attraction that we have for them. It's not a bad thing, right? That's not a bad thing. It doesn't make it wrong. It's just reminding ourselves that that's something that we're falling in love with ourselves too, right? This person in question is indeed a mirrored soul, reflecting back to you hidden aspects of yourself. Both beautiful and challenging. The connection of mirrored soul is one of the hardest yet most fulfilling relationships you will ever experience. Serving as cosmic mirrors, each soul reflects aspects of the other that may need healing and balancing. Although this process can be confrontational and challenging, it is also rewarding as it accelerates the growth in both souls. So if you have issues of self-worth and self-love, your soulmate will soon mirror to you those same qualities, or do things that may cause those hidden shades to surface. There will be times when you feel very tested and challenged. However, if you see this beautiful partnership as an opportunity for growth, both you and your partner will come to embody unconditional love, right? Each time your mirrored soul does something to aggravate and hurt you, see this moment as an invitation to go within and find the shadow or wounded self that is being provoked by these actions. Seeing this as a wonderful opportunity to break old belief systems and patterns that held you a prisoner of your own mind. And we were talking about freedom. How synchronistic is that? What? Your mirror soul also challenges you, but also assists in freeing you from that repetitious wheel of suffering. You're moving through the shadowlands and coming to that place of acceptance, love, and compassion. This is the greatest gift you can bestow upon each other. And that never said a relationship, right? We're not looking at the relationship. Let go of the idea of the actual physical manifestation of the relationship, and instead look at what they offer with this love. It's not to say that the physical won't happen. That's not what I'm trying to say here. What I'm trying to say is that the focus on the physical relationship takes away from the blessing of the realization of self that they bring to us. Okay? Affirmation. Through the reflection of your soul, I am better able to see all aspects of myself. Associated chakras are the heart and the sacral chakra. All right, so this is such a powerful message for you, pile number 2. It's hard because I feel like there's a lot of twin flame readings out there that really focus on this person's coming in finally, this person's doing this, they're finally healing, but it's never been about them. It's always been about you and your relationship to yourself. And I feel like there's so much healing that you've gone through, and you're learning that now, and that's that integration period, whether that was because of your twin flame or because of another incredibly challenging connection that you've had in your life. It was filtered or started through a sense of self-help. And now all of that is like coming crashing into a realization of wisdom for you, which is very, very beautiful and very, very powerful. So remember, again, I'm not saying you're not going to manifest this relationship in your life, but if we can just step aside from the physical manifestation of the relationship and come into a space of accepting that they're showing us something beautiful about ourselves, and that's where we'll find the freedom, is that connection with self. Then we can allow whatever's meant to happen, because Source has a plan. But if we're trying to control the outcome of the plan, we may miss out on some incredibly beautiful moments that we're meant to experience regardless, because we're so focused on controlling it, right? And we can block ourselves in that way. So that's just that reminder. Keep your head held up high, and remember, you are enough right now. So if you felt like this was your reading, leave the little feather emoji down below and say, today I open up to the full integration of self and accept my entire being as I am. I am enough. I matter. I am lovable. I am beautiful. I am magnificent. And with that, if this reading spoke to your soul, please you're welcome to share your story in the comments. I read them all. And please subscribe. You can support the journey and explore today's tools in the description box links. And I would like to offer my deepest gratitude to your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for anchoring in this energy for us today. And with that being said, until next time, pile number 2, stay human. Bye. Welcome back, my fellow humans. I'm so honored to be sharing this human experience and walk this beautiful path of growth with you today. Remember that if a trigger arises during this reading, please don't force it to fit, and also maybe view that friction as a sacred blueprint for your own personal healing and growth. So pile 3, if you felt called to this green dice with Uranus on it, or perhaps you felt called to this beautiful piece of natural jade, Or maybe you were called to this card during the shuffle. This is going to be your reading on the shocking message they just released. For you, pile 3, I was definitely getting an energy of there's an ultimate change that's coming for you. So some sort of huge shift that's happening in your journey. That could be career, that could be relationship, that could be life, it could be anything. But it does feel like there's some sort of huge shift that's coming for you in the next chapter of your journey. So we're going to be looking into that and getting some more information that comes through with that. Okay, we're going to start with the dice. We're going to move on to the tarot. And then we are going to get into the oracle for additional messages and advice. So, source for pile number 3. What is the shocking message that you just released in regards to this ultimate change? What is the shocking message you would like to give to them in regards to this ultimate change for pile 3, source? Okay, so we've got the 9th house, we've got Leo energy, and we've got Neptune coming through. Yeah, it does feel like this is at first on a spiritual level. So something spiritually is shifting for you. And through that spiritual shift, then you are going to be able to express yourself more freely. Even, honestly, even more dramatically, not in a bad way. Okay, not like drama, but like with more flair is what it feels like. There's a lot more flair here to you expressing yourself. Did you get your pieces of flair this morning, pile 3? It really is this energy of honoring who you are and being proud of the way you stand in the spotlight. Where maybe before you were really struggling to let yourself be seen, or with a person, or in an environment, or with a situation, you were making yourself small, dimming your own light, feeling a sense of guilt, feeling a sense of unease even. But now you're looking at yourself with these eyes of realization of seeing, I have a lot of profound wisdom to offer. I have a lot of incredible insights. I have everything I need to be successful in this moment. And you're no longer letting that fear drive you. You're no longer letting other people's drama put you into a box. You're no longer letting the unknown prevent you from connecting with your truth and the reality that you're trying to create. And sometimes that can be a challenge for us because the reality we're trying to create might not match up with the reality that we're seeing. But I do feel like for you, pile 3, that there's this sense where now it doesn't matter if I see it, I'm going to feel it. And if I feel it, that means I'm going to see it. And it starts to really spiral out into a massive change where something small that you've been waiting for happens. You're like, okay, I did that. Then you're like, now I want this. And then that happens. And now I want this. And then that happens. And that's what this feels like. So also, I just want to mention that you might have come from another one of the piles. And I'm not going to say which one, but you could have been drawn to 2 piles on this reading. And also, I would like to mention very quickly that if you've hung out with me for all 3 piles, that makes you a part of my Purple Heart Club. And because of that, there's going to be an exclusive little video for you at the very end of this video. So stay tuned, and that's just for my Purple Heart Club. Okay? So you can leave a purple heart below and I'll know what that means. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for your time, your energy. And if you're here for pile 3 alone, thank you for your time, your energy, and your support. But it does feel like there's this shift that's coming, and it is happening on a spiritual level first and foremost. And that spiritual level, it feels like it's just going to like spread out into the physical in a very profound way. But it's coming from you. It's coming from internally. Internal. It's something where, like, an example would be this. If you were dealing with a very difficult job situation, and you're like, you know what, I want to manifest a new job, and so I'm gonna really just focus on manifesting this new job. And so you get a new job, and it's like everything that you've wanted, or it at least checks almost all the boxes, because not everything is exactly perfect the way that we want it, but it will hold space for it to become that eventually, or will hold space for it to become that eventually, right? And you recognize that. And so you manifest this job, and you're like, great. So now I want to manifest the ultimate love of my life. And so you focus on that, and you put a lot of energy and effort into focusing and manifesting that intentions moving forward. You manifest the love of your life. You're like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. And then suddenly you're like, okay, I want to manifest financial wealth. And then suddenly some opportunity comes in, you start investing, you see all these doors of opportunities open up to you, and you're like, this is incredible, it's happening. I want to manifest a new house on the beach somewhere on an island, and you manifest that, right? Like, I'm not saying it's this extreme, but what I'm saying is there's something like this where there's something that shifts inside of you, and you begin to embrace the mystic and the magic of who you are. And that's where your ultimate change comes from. All those struggles that you've had now seem like the distant past. And, you know, I said this in another pile. It's not to say that you'll never experience struggles or hardships, but now you're being given the tools to face them with a calm serenity that maybe you didn't possess before. But let's find out some more here about this shocking message that you just released for pile 3 source. I feel like you're overcoming self-sabotage as well. Like, there might have been some self-sabotage where you were getting in your own way, and now you're getting out of your own way. You're like, okay, I'm surrendering, I'm accepting it for what it is, and I'm going to let it become whatever it's going to become. Yeah. All right. What else would you like to tell pile 3 source? Interesting. What else would you like to tell pile number 3 source? Whoa, okay, so you're getting 4 cards. Let me move these over a little. Oh, they want it the other way. Okay. I got you. Bottom of the deck, we have the 7 of Wands in the upright. Perseverance. Okay. So, yeah. The shocking message. There's something here that was incredibly unfair in your life. It was a physical situation. Right? And when I think of physical, it's a person, it's a job. You know, we were talking about job just a minute ago, so it could be a job. What we were saying, like, I don't want this job anymore. I want to manifest the job that I really want. But the interesting thing about this is that you're actually realizing that there was something very superficial that was keeping you attached to this situation. So if it was a person, there was like something superficial that was keeping you attached to them. If it is a job, there was something superficial that was keeping you attached to them. So an example of both of those would be if it's a relationship, it was a title. So if this was like a parent, a child, a lover, a spouse, or whatever, like the title itself is what was keeping you attached and feeling obligated to the situation. And there's this realization now where you're seeing that this is too heavy for me to carry on into the new chapter in my life. I'm moving on to hope. I'm moving on to seeing brighter days. I'm moving on to seeing my worth and my value. I'm moving on to manifesting all the things that I want in my life. And this label or this title of this person is not going to get me there, right? It's not the title that's getting there. It's not the person, right? We have to look at the person instead of the title. And I feel like that's what was happening. If this is a job, it was about how it looked on paper, how it appeared on paper. It looked so good on paper. It appeared so good. Everybody's like, wow, you have an amazing job, but it could have been making you miserable, right? So the superficial is that you're trying to unknowingly impress everybody because everybody was impressed, or they were saying that they were impressed with this. This could have been a material item. So like a car, you had a car note for, like, say you went and got a brand new Challenger, and now you have this ridiculous $700 a month payment on this Challenger, and you've been paying on it for like a year, and you're realizing you're struggling because this is a massive car note, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, I cannot and I love this car and I don't want to give it up, but I cannot afford this $700 payment. But you're attached to the identity of the car itself, right? Like the car brings with it certain unspoken privileges or something like that. And there's this fear of giving it up. But then there's like sudden realization, like if I took that $700 in 10 months, I would have $7,000 and I could buy a car straight out and actually have the title in hand, right? Or the pink slip, whatever you guys call it. I call it a title because that's what I grew up with, but I've heard people call them pink slips, and so whatever you call it. But you could have title in hand and not have a car payment, take care of your insurance, take care of maintenance, so on and so forth, and have a pretty decent car for that amount of money, right? And so you're like weighing the options now and looking at them from a sustainable aspect, right? Is this relation sustainable for the long term? Is this job, this position sustainable for the long term? Is this material item that I am identifying with sustainable for the long term? And you're seeing it from a much more sensible place instead of the ego. And so instead of looking at the position that it gives you, right? Because anytime we have the Pope S in the reverse, it's something that's superficial. It's just very surface level. It's driven by the ego, right? Or superficial connections, or it's something that's hidden, that's not shown to us because we don't want it to be shown to us, right? So if it's a romantic partner that's in your life and you realize that they're toxic for you, it's saying like, but at least I have a love connection. There was a shirt that I watched the other day where it was this lady is like, well, I met this guy at this party and I think that he's the one. Oh my gosh, it was so great. He really liked me. He said he thought I was so interesting. And then I ended up chasing him around at the whole party, the whole night. And then he's always breadcrumbing me. And I always have to go out of my way to connect with him. And I never get anything back. And I'm always left wondering. And then the other person involved in this, which of course it was a solo skit, but she was playing both parts. And she's like, oh, so basically your summer fling is just like your last summer fling, right? And she goes, yeah, exactly. And she goes, the first lady says, so when this all falls apart, like it's inevitably going to do, like all of my other relationships, because I don't want to be aware of the types of toxic relationships that I'm letting into my life, will you be there for me and support me and validate the hardships that I'm going through and be that friend that you are? And she goes, yeah, of course I will be. And the first lady says, oh, you're the best friend. And then it goes to the second lady and she says, of course I'm going to be there for you because I have a terrible marriage, but me listening to your stories about how hard it is to be single and to find someone to connect with is what I need in order to stay in my toxic relationship and not come to terms with how toxic it is and how hard it is for me to leave. And I sat there and I was like, oh my gosh, like if I'd listened to this a couple of years ago, I'd have been like, oh, what a trigger, right? Like what a trigger. Oh my gosh, I can't with this. But the value in that information is just that. And that's just a relationship, right? But that's that very surface level, not wanting to take accountability for self. And that's why I bring it up here, is because it's feeling like you're not wanting to take accountability for self from the past. But now you're stepping into a moment where you're finally like, okay, I'm going to take full unapologetic awareness and responsibility for the part that I'm playing in my own life, and I'm going to see what that creates. And so any situation that was superficial from the past, you're finally saying like, that's enough. That's enough. I don't see the sustainability in this. I don't see how this is going to serve me for the long term or how this is going to grow with me. And it's so weird saying serve me, but when we say that, it's just, is it going to match your vibe as you continue to expand, right? Because if it's not, then it's not worth our time. It's only here for a short while. And so through that, you're letting go of responsibilities, which actually opens the door for you to connect with somebody. The Ten of Wands is such an interesting card in the Tarot Marseille. It can refer to burdens when it's in the reverse, but here we have it in the upright, and it's showing that when you have it in the upright, it's meeting someone who goes through this difficult journey with you, this path. And so there's you saying, okay, I'm done. I don't want to live in this superficial energy anymore. I don't care the titles that people have in my life. I don't care how good this job looks on paper. I don't care how cool this item is. I don't care anymore. I don't want it to weigh me down. Then somebody steps into your life that says, hey, I got your back. I'm going to be here with you. I'm going to help support you in the hard times. Like, not necessarily financially, maybe financially. But what I'm saying is, like, they're going to be there for you, and you're going to overcome this situation with grace. And you are going to become this new person who sees the strength in your vulnerability. And so the massive shift that's happening for you is going from a place of disconnect from yourself into a place of truly connecting with all those parts of yourself that you had tried to hide away in the closet. Like, the skeletons in the closet are coming out, but you're no longer seeing them as skeletons in the closet, but as old clothes that you used to love to wear and that you hid away for so long. And you're like, oh my gosh, why did I hide this away for so long? Why was I hiding from this? Why was I so scared of this? And that integration, and now you're wearing it, and because of the love that you're bringing to the situation, that we're looking at that integration, we're looking at that self-actualization, we're looking at that full self-realization as well, that's coming full circle. And it sets you on motion for things to start changing for the better in your life. This has been a part of your path. The struggle has been a part of your path. It was something that was destined to be a part of your path. You had to go through it in order to see things from a different perspective, in order to see the superficial things that were taking up residence in your life that actually had your attention. And when you're able to see those things that had your attention, you're able to move your attention to other things that are more meaningful for you, which allows you to reconnect with your intuition and to no longer hide from yourself, right? Mystery is hiding from ourselves, not something that's actually hidden from us. So that was interesting. I feel like I want to get one of these. I'm actually going to use some more tarot, but I all of a sudden was going to pick up my astrology deck, and I don't know why, and so I put it down, but I'm actually going to get a card from it right now because I feel like there's an additional message here for you in regards to that. Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes, thank you so much, Source. We have Saturn coming out here. Look at this. Feeling restricted, experiencing struggle, learning hard work, and patience. Okay, so this is a powerful, powerful transition from the struggle and the hardships that you've been through. Like, even if hardships come up in your life again, they're not going to feel as restrictive as what you've been through in the past when you were letting these very surface level situations take up residence in your life. Like, now you're going to have tools to face them from a calm, serene place. Like, you're going to overcome those barriers and those obstacles in your path. And so it's showing that this has been something tied to your Saturn. So you could have Saturn in Virgo, Saturn in Pisces, Saturn in Sag, Saturn in Aquarius. Your Saturn could be in Leo. You could have Saturn in the 9th house in Leo, along with Neptune in the 9th house in Leo. And that's a specifically powerful message for you. And if not, that's okay. That doesn't make it any less meaningful for you. It's just that someone needed that additional confirmation for themselves. Yeah, we have 12th house energy here. Spirituality, transcendence, karma, sacrificial service, and healing. So you're letting yourself out of the cage, out of the hardship here. You're letting go of that past karma that maybe you were holding on to. You're transcending into a new version and reality for yourself. And you're letting your intuition guide you now. You're trusting in the process. You're trusting in the messages. So maybe before, when Source is like, I need you to walk down this path, right? And we all do this. So please know, I'm not singling you out at all. But it's just this example of Source is like, I need you to walk down this path. And we immediately turn around and say, but I don't know what's down that path. And Source is like, it's cool. I got you. Yeah, I know you got me, but I don't know. I cannot see what's going on, 5 feet in front of me. And that scares the believing GGs out, the bejeebies out of me, right? Like, I don't know. I don't want to go down that path. I know what's on this path. And Source is like, I know you know. And I know you don't know over there. But I got you. And a lot of times when we're not ready, we say, it's cool. You got me if I go down this path too, right? So it's like, yeah, I got you. No matter what, I got you. So we'll choose what we know because we know it, right? So we're like, oh, I'm going to take this path because I know what's on this path. I know what to expect. And then we'll come to another crossroads. It'll come back around and it'll meet this path. And Source is like, I want you to go down that path. That path is better for you. And you're like, yeah, but it looks scary. It's all dark. Like, I see it's all forest. It's like black at night in there. Like, I don't know. I can't see it. I don't have a light. You want me to walk into there, but I don't have a light. You didn't give me a flashlight. Source is like, I'm your light. You're like, yeah, I mean, that's nice. But, you know, and we go through this like 3 or 4 times before we're like, I know I've chosen this path so many times, so I'm going to listen to you this time. I'm just going to see. I'm going to see what happens. Like, I'm putting it in your hands, Source. I'm going to really see. And Source is like, I got you, right? Never changes, always consistent, always present, no matter which way we go. And when you go down this path, it might seem scary at first, but then suddenly things start to work out for you. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I can actually trust my intuition. I can actually trust what guidance I'm being given, right? And I feel like that's just a powerful metaphor for our journey anyways, because many of us go through that before we truly trust our intuition. Source, can you tell us a little bit more about the massive change that's coming for pile number 3? Yeah, before you didn't want to come to terms with the reality that was in front of you. It was really hard with the House of God in the reverse here. It's like not wanting to face reality, not wanting to come to terms with this destructive behavior, this destructive thought pattern, destructive people, destructive situations in your life. It's like, oh, I'll fix it. Fix it. Okay, fix it, Felix. Calm down, fix it, Felix. Right? But that's it. It's like we think we have this magic hammer that if we just touch it with our hammer, it'll be fixed and we've got it. We can do it. We can do it all. But that's not what happened. It just continued to drain energy from you. What else would you like to tell pile 3? Whoa. Yeah, so we have the 9 of Wands that flipped over here. Beginning again. There's a new beginning here for you moving forward. And I feel like beginning again was the scariest thing for you because it felt like you were going back to zero, ground zero. But you're not. You're starting from like the 10th floor. You just couldn't see it because you don't know what's behind you. You don't know what's in front of you. You just don't see where you're at, right? That's Saturn for us. It doesn't show us where we're at. It just shows us what we know, right? So we can't really see anything in front of us. And that's why it's so powerful when we finally face our Saturn. So there's a new beginning here for you, starting again. All right, the bottom of the deck, we have the 10 of Cups. So this, I just heard that spiritual freedom, total spiritual freedom, spiritual expression, spiritual integration, like spiritual understanding as well of yourself, like who you are. Letting go of unfair situations from your life. Let's see what this is. Yeah, letting go of self-sabotage. So that's the thing, like not realizing that you were your own worst enemy here, right? And if you guys didn't catch the last reading that I did, it was about what's sabotaging your success. That might hold additional meanings to you. You can definitely check that out if you'd like to. But with the Ace of Wands, this is us being our own worst enemies and not realizing it. Like trying to make it everyone else's problem or even trying to make it Source's problem. Well, if you had just made this path easier. And I'll never forget, I talked to this woman. She was my neighbor for a little while and her husband would sit out and play guitar every day. And they left. She hurt her hip and she finally got the okay from the doctor to go. And so they finally were able to go home. They weren't supposed to be here for so long, but I'm really glad that they were. 'Cause I had this conversation with her and we were talking about God, Source, right? And so we were talking about Source and she goes, you know what? This is what she told me. She says, I got this from somebody I go to church with. And she said, God's not a puppet on a string. And I thought that was so powerful. But sometimes that's our mentality with Source, is we think Source is our puppet that we get to control. Like, this is my prayer Source, so give it to me now. Right? And all of us go through that. I've gone through that. Like, I'm guilty of this too. Until we get humbled. And we get humbled in some really wild ways, right? And so when we open up to that, being humbled and realizing that Source is trying to lead us to what's best for us, but is not going to fulfill our every demand in the way that we expect, the way that we would like command a person we had control over, or command an object or something like that. But we oftentimes put source into that bubble, and how unfair of us to say you have to follow my every wish in this way, when that's not what source is there for. Source is there as a constant source of love, a constant source of encouragement, a constant source of reliability that we can come back to even when times are rough, even when times are making us feel disconnected. There's always that connection that we can rely back onto. And so with the 10 of Cups here, this is spiritual freedom in such a way that you're now teaching others this spiritual freedom as well. And so this was one of the hardest things that you had to go through, was actually letting go of the superficial and believing and trusting in the unknown. And I feel like that's something that you're like, oh, I've trusted in the unknown. I've trusted in the unknown. But I feel like along the way, pile 3, and again, we have to take accountability for where we're at. I'm guilty of this too. I will always say this. I am not free from sin at all, but understanding, taking accountability that we are trusting of the things that don't feel so hard to trust, right? The little things. But when it comes to bigger things, things that we've held on to, or things that we've gripped onto for so long, trusting about those things can be increasingly difficult. Like, i.e. for myself, it's finances and love. Like, those are two things that I've gripped so tight that they've left barbed wire scars in my hands and in my arms, I'll tell you, and in my soul. And when I finally just said, you know what? I'm tired. I'm tired of holding on. I'm tired of gripping onto this for dear life, because all it's doing is cutting and cutting and cutting and cutting and wounding me. When I finally let go, I felt a sense of relief and freedom from that. And I felt a sense of peace that I've never felt when I was holding on. And it's like those two big, large things. It's like I finally said, I cannot control them, Source. I've tried every part of myself. I've tried to become enough. I've tried to do enough. I've tried to do what I could. I've tried to control the outcome. I've tried to overwork myself, burn the candle at both ends. I've tried everything in my power to make this become a reality in my life. I'm done. I'm done. You know what I want? Here you go. I can't even look at it anymore. I'm disgusted by it, right? And it's just a metaphor, but it's just like realizing that I have to trust the process. And it's hard. It's hard because we get so wrapped up in us wanting it to be the way that we want it to be. And that's why it's hard for us to trust the unknown. And I feel like this is something that was equally hard for you to let go of. And that's why this change is going to be so big for you, because it's you stepping into a new version of yourself, a new aligned version of where you were always meant to be, but also coming to terms with the part of your emotional ego that was keeping you small-minded and keeping you in a trap, right? Keeping you in something that was cyclical by nature. So I'm going to get some love cards. We'll also get some career cards just for those of you that, you know, feel like this is maybe love or maybe career. And then I have a whole bunch of others. But we had recognition. Flip over for the love cards. It says the divine will help you recognize the signs and the miracles. So that's the thing, like with love, it's trusting that when your love comes into your life, you're going to know. Like, it's not going to be something where you're confused or where you're left guessing or where you're wondering where you stand. You're going to feel a sense of groundedness and peace and understanding. I also feel like you're going to feel like you've known this person forever. I do not feel like they're going to run. I don't feel like they're going to breadcrumb you or leave you guessing. That's not at all what's coming in. This feels like an equal exchange. Like you both have a hand in it. That's what I'm seeing here. You both have a hand in this connection. You both build this connection together. And it's something that's deeply, deeply connected. Deeply, deeply, like unnerving, because it feels like you've done this before with this person. But also, it's going to challenge you in some incredibly profound ways. Wow. So we have yin and yang. Like the yin yang symbol, twin flames contain an aspect of each other's character within themselves. So I just want to say, you may be here from another pile. This energy came out in another, not the yin yang, but the twin flame energy came out in another pile. So you may be here from another pile. just quickly, if you were called to another pile, there might be additional messages for you there. I'm not going to tell you what pile because it's just for those of you that felt called to 2 piles. Definitely feel free to check them out. It is never a requirement. But I'm not going to say this is a twin flame. That's not for me to say. The card may say it, okay? But what we're saying here is that this is someone who's going to give as you give, right? So we have a little bit of each in both sides. We have a little bit of shadow in the light and a little bit of light in the shadow. We're giving equal parts of ourselves to this. That's what I'm feeling with this yin and yang energy. It's like we're giving equal parts of ourselves. So we're asking questions. We're getting to know each other. We're building trust. We're building a solid foundation. We're building a friendship before we even look into the romantic side of things. Like, we want to know, are we connected? Can this become something more? It's not that the physical attraction doesn't exist, because it does. But what becomes more important is, are we both building in this? Are we both having our hand in this? And I feel like that's something that Source is saying. The signs are going to be very clear when it's somebody that's meant to be in your life. They're gonna put in the effort for you, right? They're gonna be there for you. They're gonna show up in this situation 100%. So let's get some more information out here. You are good enough. Wow, what a beautiful message for you, pile 3. You're good enough. You've always been good enough. And I feel like that's why maybe at times it was hard to let go of these superficial situations, whether that's, again, a job, a person, or a material aspect. You were feeling like, this is what makes me good enough. This identity that I have. Like, if I can just prove that I can make it better, then I'll be good enough. I've got the hiccups all of a sudden. Hiccups of confirmation. But letting go is coming into a peaceful space of realizing you're already enough. And those things could never make you enough. Like, they never ever had the ability to make you enough, because you were already enough to begin with. And sometimes that's hard for us to embrace, because we've been told that we weren't enough, or we've been ostracized or judged, or we've been cast out or abandoned, right? Whoa, this is way too many, but I will let you guys see what came out. We've got Archangel Zadkiel with compassion, freedom, and forgiveness. Something missing with intimacy or fertility issues. Courage, taking on life challenges with warrior, and the energetic realm, life between lives. So you're definitely guarded by the angels and the spiritual realm, but there was something here that was missing, and it took a lot of courage for you to choose something different. I'm going to put these back into the deck, and then we're going to see what else comes out. Just one card, please, Source. One card, please, Source. Whoa, thank you. Okay, the bottom of the deck. Yeah, we have leadership. Person of authority. You're going to be a leader. And it doesn't have to be to a huge community. It could be to a leader in your family, right? This could be taking care of a family, building a family. That's being a leader in your family. But we did see here with the spiritual leadership as well. So I do feel like for some of you, you're about to step up into being a spiritual leader in your community, within your family, being the authority in your life, coming into sovereign alignment is what I'm hearing. Thank you, Source. Bottom of the deck, empathy. I am open to seeing both sides of the situation. No longer looking at it as a me versus them, but realizing we're all in this together and understanding the much bigger picture here with empathy. This is like putting the shoe on the other foot and realizing that's where we learn how to value everything that we've gone through, right? That's what I'm seeing here. Powerful energy. You could be an empath. You could identify as an empath, as a psychic, having a psychic gift, right? Whatever it is, but I do feel like you definitely feel things deeply. You could have Pisces highly aspect in your chart. You could have a 12th house stellium. You could have Pisces moon, Pisces in the 8th house. Yeah, that's what's coming out. Bottom of the deck, we have you're not alone. Isolation, physical connection, and community. Yeah, so you're building a new community here. People who think like you, people who see the world like you do, people who understand you. It feels like a new love relationship coming in, or a new friendship. Soul tribe for sure. For many of you, it's soul tribe. If you're not looking for romance, that's a-okay. You do not have to be here looking for romance, all right? Some people are and some people aren't. I'm not here to force it. But when we talk about love, it doesn't have to be romance. It can absolutely be friends, soul tribes, soul brothers, soul sisters, right? That's still equally as powerful and so necessary for our journey. We have protection, guardian. Drop your shields. It's okay to let yourself be vulnerable right now. There are some people who need that vulnerability from you in order to meet you with their own vulnerability. And you're going to recognize that as well. Sky Father. Can we be real? Can we be real? The fact that this came out with trust in the unknown, with the message that came out earlier about the path, right? Can we be real about this? Thank you so much, Source, for this amazing confirmation. Such an amazing confirmation. I feel like with the eagle here, it's about seeing things from a much higher perspective as well. Not being afraid to look outside the box, right? Not being afraid to look outside your own box as well. Sometimes we get so trapped in our own box. We're like, no, it's got to be this way. It has to happen this way. It has to unfold this way. But when we look outside our own box, we get to see so many beautiful things, so many incredible things. All right, so these are the career cards. We have direction coming out. It says your purpose is unfolding slowly, step by step as you go along. There's no need to hurry or worry. You are being divinely guided. So trust in the process again with direction. It's a slow process, but it's a good thing that it's a slow process. It doesn't need to be fast, right? You are being guided. And then on the bottom, wow, long term. An opportunity could turn into a long-term career move, or you will be asked to commit to a position in exchange for more money. But isn't this really telling too? Because we have the wedding rings, the wedding bands on here as well. So equally so for many of you, like you could be asked to commit to a relationship, a long-term, a marriage or something along those lines. But for others of you, this is a long-term commitment with your career, something that's incredibly stable and very fulfilling, okay? So whatever it is, or it could be both. It could be both if that's what you're trying to manifest in your life, you know? Everybody's at different chapters and journeys. So trusting in that process. Let's get an answer oracle. Actually, let's get two, please. Answer oracle for pile 3, Source. What more would you like to share with them today? A lot of synchronicities for you, pile 3. A lot of synchronicities. Tells me you're incredibly spiritual. You definitely have an open heart to receiving your messages as well, which is profound and beautiful. So trust in that as you move forward, and trust that you can also receive messages outside of tarot and, you know, apply them to your life as you move forward, you know. And I'm glad you're here. Like, I'm glad you're here, but also just want to encourage you to listen in your day-to-day life as well, right? I should be here confirming your intuition, not telling you what to do. I should be a confirmation to your intuition, because your intuition is your most powerful guide and tool, okay? Whoa. We have romance, connections, love with dating coming out here. Are you kidding me? So for many of you, it's about love. There's a lot. I want to have a relationship in my life. I want to have my ultimate partner, whomever that is, the person that I'm going to grow old with, the companion that I want for the rest of my life, that we're going to share this and be, you know, like this together, right? And so that's something that's coming in, and I feel like that had to be with letting go of this superficial idea. And, you know, if you came from another pile, we talked about twin flames. It's like letting go of the package that it comes in and opening up to the possibility. And that's scary for some people, is letting go of the package, because it has to be the package. It's the only person I've ever felt this way with. But there's a couple of questions to ask in those situations. Is this, and again, I'm not here to say yes or no, that they are or they aren't. There's just questions to ask for ourselves and for our own benefit and for our own curiosity. Is this really a twin flame? Is this a trauma bond? And what would my life be if this person never came into it? And can I be okay with that, right? And asking these questions can give us a huge view into where we're standing at on our own journey, and whether we need to let go and flow more, or if we are already in a state where we realize that I'm open to what the divine has for me. But some of us are saying, you know, we were saying that earlier, pile 3, is that source is not a puppet on a string, and the same is true for our higher spiritual commitment. Source is not a puppet on a string. Source is really trying to connect us with people who are healthy for us, that we've worked so hard to bring into our lives. And if it's not the person that we thought it was, knowing and trusting that Source has a really good idea of what is best for us, and trusting in that process sometimes. You know, again, I'm not the person to say they are, they aren't. That is not what I'm here to do. I don't feel like that's for anybody to say. I feel like that's for you and Source to work out, but it's also for you and Source to work out whether or not holding on to said person, is that something that is egoically driven because of this community that has exponentially gone incredibly viral, or is it because I don't want to open up to the possibility that someone else is maybe more higher aligned for me, right? And that's scary. But again, you have to take the journey that's best for you. That's all. I want everybody to start trusting their intuition, but I also want everybody to ask, is this intuition or ego? Because that's the hardest question. When we recognize that it may be ego that's leading us, that's when it becomes really frightening, because it's like, whoa, what was I holding on to with this person, right? Take time to breathe out. It's time to relax. It's time to come into that space of letting go. And you may really resonate with the collective message that I did at the beginning, which you will find timestamped in the description box if you're interested. It's not a requirement, but it's talking about letting go with the disseminating moon, right? Addictions, wow. Reactive behaviors and reclaiming your powers. So there's something here that you were addicted to, something that you were obsessed with, right? We're talking about that, something you were identifying with, and now you're reclaiming your power. You're putting it all on the table and you're recognizing, is this sustainable for the long run? Is this really truly aligned for my highest good? And if it's not, then I'm walking away with grace, with integrity, with honor. Judgment. I understand that everyone has their own path, unique path and challenges. And that's the other thing too, like sometimes we get stuck judging people like, well, you don't understand my path, you don't understand what I'm going through. I've been there too. I've judged others for that as well. But realizing we have to take a step back and honor the fact that maybe they see something that we don't, and maybe at the same time they're trying to derail us from something that matters to us because they don't want us to have it, right? So we have to look at both sides of it and then trust our intuition. Again, coming back to that amazing tool that we all have, and that will grow even stronger with practice and stronger with trust, right? So trusting in our own ability to discern situations and to listen to our intuition while not getting ourselves derailed by our emotional ego. Okay. Yeah. Force, don't follow. Pave a new path. Be the leader you wish you had. And that's the thing. I feel like that's a very powerful place to come from for you. Pile number 3 is that you're going to be spiritually leading people in a way that you wish that you had spiritual leaders, right? Like people who said things that you wish they were saying to you. It's like things that you've known all along, or things that you suspected all along. And now you're going to be the person that says that. You know, it's like no longer looking at it from the way that's trending, or no longer looking at it from the way that everybody else is doing it. It's like, I don't like the way that everybody else is doing it. I feel like it's trapping people in cycles, or I feel like it's trapping people in, you know, repeat patterns or toxic patterns. And so you're looking at it from that way. And that's why we got the 10 of Cups here. It's because you're becoming the spiritual leader. That's literally what the 10 of Cups talks about in the Tarot Marseille. You become the leader that fills up the people's cups with what they didn't know they needed. But until you can stand empowered in yourself, you'll never be able to truly fulfill that role. And that's the big shift that's happening, is now being empowered in self. Opportunity. Doors are opening up for you. You have the chance to change jobs, start a business, or invest in a new venture. Just do it. Yeah, so a new door of opportunity is opening up for you. And I feel like you're about to walk through it and experience a whole new life. Worth. Efforts will be rewarded, within reach, and success lies in hand, right? You are enough. You are worthy. We got that here. You are enough. You are worthy. Success is happening. Like, you're on the precipice here. I know it's easy to doubt when things haven't happened your way for what seems like forever, but you've been watering. You've been in a season of nurturing your garden for a long time, and there's a lot that comes with that. weeding it out and experiencing the pains, the growing pains that it's gone through. And now you're about to harvest something absolutely incredible and beautiful. Destiny, responsibility, road, and shackles. I love this because this goes back to what we got when I was saying I just randomly wanted to do this before I even got these cards, which is so interesting. But look at these two cages, look almost identical, right? Like you're the one that's opening the door. You're letting yourself out, even with the koi fish here, right? Representing Pisces energy, but you're letting yourself out, realizing that you had the power all along. But also seeing with the Destiny card, right? Responsibility, road, and shackles. You're also seeing that the cage is what helped cultivate this new sense of worth, this new sense of empowerment even, right? It's where a lot of your garden grew at. And now that you see that and you can move your garden into an open, wide open spaces, room to make a big mistake. She needs new faces. She knows the highest face. She knows the highest face. She knows the highest face. Yeah, so that you need room to make big mistakes, but you need the room to grow. You're moving from something that is so oppressive and small into a new place where you're taking your garden and you're actually planting it in a field of gold. It's like everything that you knew before, you're now experiencing something different. You're now experiencing something even grander than that. And that's been a part of your destiny. A part of your destiny was to go through, and we talked about that with the 10 of coins and the 10 of wands. This was a part of your journey to go through this struggle, to go through this hardship so that you could free yourself from it. And this is where the change happens, is that you're letting go of something that kept you small and realizing your actual worth and your value, and letting that guide you to becoming a spiritual leader of sorts. And even if you don't want to be a spiritual leader, it's a leader of something. You're going to be leading something, right? Leading a change in everybody's life, leading your family, whatever it is, you're leading this shift to others. You're giving it to other souls who need it. So let's take a look at your card. I'm going to read this from the book. We're going to find out what it says. I'm done. Intuition coming through, right? Oh my goodness, like absolutely incredible. What have I been saying this whole time? Your intuition is the greatest tool that you have in your arsenal, in your tool bag, whatever it is. This is all about confirming your intuition. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to confirm the intuition that you've already had this whole time. That's what I'm here for. And if I'm not confirming your intuition, then it might not be the reading for you, right? And that's okay. But this is something that you know to be true in your heart. That's what this feels like for you, Pile 3. You know it to be true in your heart. And there's been times when trusting your intuitions versus trusting what your ego has identified with has been a challenge. But you're now shifting into this place of truly trusting the internal wisdom that lies within each of us. And that's becoming an incredibly strong muscle for you. And you're allowing it to take the reins. That's why we're saying that path. Now I understand why the path analogy came up for you. Because before it was always like, oh, but the ego knows. The ego knows that this is safe. Like, I know what to expect down this road. And Source is like, it's cool, I got your back, right? This is also a really good road for you. You'll find out if you choose to take it. Yeah, but I don't know what's down that road, right? Finally, your intuition said, maybe we should take this road. Like, let's just try it. Let's see what happens. And that's when everything shifts for you. You're closing this chapter in your life. And you're, in turn, all of a sudden, all the seeds that you planted come to harvest. Like everything, it comes to harvest. 18. All right, so it says, the intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We've created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. That's a quote by Albert Einstein. It says, when you pray with sincerity, it comes from the heart. But do you find that your prayers often go unheard or unanswered? You're open to when it comes to praying, dear one, but when it comes to receiving, you are closed. That's the path analogy that we got, okay? Most often, fears and doubts creep in to form barricades that block messages and communication from spirit. The universe, God, source, or whatever you wish to call that loving presence that speaks to you through your intuition, dreams, and visions is a quieter, gentler voice that often goes unheard. If you've drawn this card, Spirit is asking you to pay closer attention to that inner voice and intuition. It has been communicating to you the answers and guidance that you seek. Going within and listening to the inner guidance requires being open and away from distractions. Do not be misguided by the voice of the ego. The ego is loud, disruptive, and will do anything in its power to convince you that what you are doing is foolish and a waste of time. Do not let the ego fill your head with negative and disruptive thoughts. Simply observe this loud voice. Now give that quieter, gentler voice, loving voice within a chance. Life isn't about killing the ego, but simply nurturing and watering the divine within you. In doing so, the ego fails to grow and survive in the light-filled body of love. The prayer is, may I always have the wisdom and clarity to listen to the divine guidance and intuition within me. And the associated chakra is the heart chakra. Incredibly powerful message for you today, pile 3. Absolutely synchronistic. I loved it. I'm so honored I got to do this for you. Wow. Just wow. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this here because I don't feel like I have anything else to add for you, except that if you would like to claim this reading, you're welcome to leave the third eye emoji down below in the comments. And if you would like to take that a step further, let's breathe in our affirmation today. And that is, my intuition is always leading me. I step into a space of silence so that I can hear the quiet, loving nudge that arises from my heart, and I follow it to my destiny. Wonderful. If you felt like this reading spoke to your soul, please like. You're welcome to share your stories in the comments and subscribe. You can support our journey and explore today's tools in the description box links. And I would like to offer my deepest gratitude to your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides. With that being said, until next time, pile number 3, stay human. Bye. Hello, this is for the Purple Heart Club exclusive. So this is just a thank you to you for watching this entire video for me. A little quick energy check-in for those of you that have. So source for the Purple Heart Club, what would you like to share with them today? Okay, let's get one more. Purple Heart Club, what would you like to share with them today? Thank you, Source. So let's see what's on the bottom of the deck, since that's the one Source wants to go with first. Worry. I'm learning that worry doesn't change the outcome. So I do feel like there's something here that you've been worried about with reason, right? There's always validation for those worries, but also understanding that the more that we worry about it, it doesn't change it, right? It doesn't bring a resolution worrying about it. And I remember way back when I first started this, there was this message that said, if worrying about it doesn't bring a solution, then why worry about it? But if worrying about it brings a solution, then I'll instead focus on the solution instead of worry, right? So again, it's just a reminder that if it has a solution, focus on the solution. If it doesn't have a solution, then it's not worth our time worrying. And that's easier said than done, especially when worry is so deeply ingrained into our culture and into each one of us, just depending on the situation that we had growing up. But let's see what we've got. Pride, forgiveness, okay, and humor. Okay, so there's something here that has been really difficult for you to deal with, and that's why there's a lot of worry here. Like, it's understandable, right? It could be a person, it could be a situation, it could be something that you're just wondering if it's ever going to come to fruition or if it's ever going to leave your life. And right now, you're in a period of learning forgiveness. You're learning how to accept what is. I accept the things I cannot change, right? What is that prayer? God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. I don't remember all the words to it, but that's the prayer that's coming in. And so it's just that reminder that if you cannot change it, all we can do is accept it for what it is. And when we come into that state of acceptance, then we can step into this very profound place of forgiveness. Remembering that forgiveness is not giving them a free pass to what they did to us. Forgiveness is saying, I'm done letting this chain me to my old way of being, or I'm done letting this chain me down. Like, I don't want to be chained down by this anymore. I want to be free. I want to move on. I want to experience something different in our life. What resentment does is resentment keeps us in a pattern of repeating this over and over again. It puts us into a space of reliving whatever was done to us because we're so angry. We're so hurt. We're so burdened by the fact that they could treat us this way. And it's understandable that we would play it over and over again, but not realizing it, playing it over and over again continues to recreate that same emotion in our lives, that same feeling, whether that's abandonment, anger, hate, overwhelm, brokenheartedness, whatever it is. That feeling then becomes the vibration that we send out to source, and thus is a vibration that continues to persist, because what we resist persists in our life. And that's what feeling is coming in. It's like you're resisting letting go and stepping into this energy of forgiveness, and also worrying that if I truly forgive this person for their vicious deeds that they did to me, am I not honoring myself? Am I not honoring the fact that I've overcome this, or that I've worked myself through this? Am I not honoring something for myself? But forgiveness is truly a state of honoring ourselves. It's saying, I forgive and let go. And I forgive myself for not knowing any better. Because that's truly what forgiveness is. It's not necessarily about the other person. It will always be about ourselves. And sometimes we just have to say, I forgive myself. I forgive myself for overstaying my welcome. I forgive myself for letting my ego get the best of me. I forgive myself for all the worry that I went through and the stress that I put myself through. And today I choose to step into a space of seeing just how absolutely ridiculous said person is, or said situation is. And I choose to bring sense of humor to it so that I can lighten the load on my heart. Because this has been a heavy burden that you've carried on your heart. And now if you can step into this lightheartedness, you're going to see things shift in a very, very profound way. And you're also going to see the power that forgiveness truly brings into our lives, which is so beautiful, and it's an absolute blessing. And if you can do that, I know that your next chapter will be filled with happiness, with relief, but above all else, freedom to be yourself without fear of what the past has created in your life, because you've let it go, and you've let it go for good. All right. So this is what I see here for you today, Purple Heart Club. Thank you so much for supporting the channel in the way that you have. I'm just so honored that you would show up and watch every pile with me and be consistent. It just, I don't even have words to describe how that feels, and I wish that I did, but I hope that you know from the bottom of my heart, with the deepest gratitude I can muster, I love you and I appreciate you, and I'm so grateful that you're a part of this journey with me, because you've made such a profound impact on my life, and I just want to give this little bit back to you. So with that, thank you, and until next time, bye.